Hello and welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Brandon Jones. Joining me this week, panelist Michael Huber.
Hello.
Michael Damiani.
What's up?
My enthusiastic co-moderator, Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
And making it all happen by starting the Zoom call in Slack, Ian Hank.
Hi.
Yes. Ian, I don't know if you know this, but we're here to talk about video games, specifically the business of video games. But unfortunately, we can't do that unless we atone for all the mistakes we made last week. Ian, please begin corrections music. The NES launched in late 1985 in the US, but in 1983 as the family computer in Japan. We just didn't say it specifically. The best version of Baku Baku is on the Saturn, Bloodworth. I guess you didn't know about Baku Baku.
Eat that, blood.
Somebody says the Saturn's where you want to go, because it's such an easy place to go to play games. DayZ is not on Epic Game Store. World War Z was free to get at one point. I think they had a weekend.
I meant to say World War Z, not
Nice.
DayZ. Yes, correct. That is a good correction. I
was
misspoke.
super hardcore desynced for like a good chunk of the podcast, which has never happened since we've been doing Zoom stuff. I have no idea why. I'm staring at those audio bars the whole time. I'm not really looking back at that video, because we dip in and out. But I mean, I was out. So apologies to people who, for that. Yeah, that definitely bothered some. Something I will look out for and make sure that doesn't happen again. And as quickly as I can, Konami makes most of their money from video games. That's how it's always been, not from Pachinko Casino, with Pachinko being one and making the least. Konami Holdings has four main businesses and companies: Konami Digital Entertainment, Konami Amusement, Konami Gaming, and Konami Sports. KDE has the most money with PES, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Power Pro, and many releases on console and mobile. So, we're still, as we've seen, they're still popping up. They're still making games.
Right. Resting on their laurels.
I still want to give that Skeletak game a shot.
Yeah.
Skeletak, yeah.
It's funny though because they don't have that many games. It's just like anytime anyone mentions it, it's like retweet.
Yeah.
And corrections music.
Well,
Before we get into the big news, very quickly, let's play gaming Gladiators. We are going to be setting up an arena when all of us get out of these stay-at-home orders. We're going to have video game characters battle each other to the death. I don't know if Alexander Zveryanov has dropped one on us yet. Claptrap from Borderlands versus Kara from Detroit Become Human. This is a robot fight. We got Bloodworth here, who's a Borderlands fan.
Oh, this is easy.
This is easy, apparently.
Yeah, all Kara has to do is stand at the top of the stairs.
right.
Yeah.
Win.
Well,
Kara's taller.
This is an arena, so no stairs or stairs. I mean, I think what if it's just a dirt arena?
She just has to kick him and he's done.
All right. Seems like Kara's the upper hand.
I mean, she's run across like 6 lanes of traffic. I think she could probably outsmart Claptrap.
I wonder if anyone's emotionally invested in that. Cody Spencer, here's a good one. I'm glad to have Huber and Bloodworth on for this. Adam Jensen versus Corvo. So that's the protagonist of 2 Deus Ex games versus Corvo from the first Dishonored. And the second one? He was in the story, but he's not playable.
You can choose to play as him, I think.
Oh, okay.
Stalemate.
What? Come on.
Stalemate.
Yeah.
Come on.
Two
That's your
people
bet?
of
You're just not betting?
that is a straight up stalemate. Two people of very equal skill levels with very similar skill sets. I say straight up stalemate. Corvo has a little more supernatural stuff, but Jensen has more technology. I think it's a tie.
Cody hit that on the head.
It depends on the rules of the universe of that our arena is in. If it's like Arcanum rules where magic, like the presence of magic, like screws up technology, then Corvo has an edge.
Damiani, you've been very quiet about all of these
I
matches.
don't know enough about Corvo and stuff, so I would have thought Jensen with like just the quality of the bionic implants they have would like one punch from that would like decimate Corvo, but I don't know if that's all it takes. Like just gotta get one punch, then But I do know Dishonored enough that like there's a lot of like stealthy moving around, agility and stuff, and I don't think Jensen's as mobile as that. So I think Huber makes a good case, but it depends on the rules.
I'm trying to think in both games because isn't there like a pretty significant cooldown on your abilities in Dishonored? Like you can't spam them.
It's not too bad.
Most of them,
It's not too bad, but like I could see Jensen.
But you need battery in.
Yeah, exactly. Jensen runs out of juice.
But does he run it as quickly? as you run out of like magic or whatever it was, and
I think
can't
it's
remember how it works.
I think it's
about
so
the same?
similar. Yeah.
All right.
It really is.
Do we need to run the numbers on this down to the seconds, Ian?
Yeah.
Again, this
'Cause
could be a
if someone
stalemate. You
runs
remember
that
this sounds?
fast-
It's a stalemate, dude.
It's
I
a cool
swear.
down stalemate.
It is.
All right, I got you, Beth. Guys, good news. We now know the future of gaming.
Good.
Yes.
We
I
do
was
it.
worried.
As of today, June 11th, 2020, we did it. We made it to the future of gaming, at least according to Sony PlayStation, who dropped just a whole podcast's worth of video games to discuss. I'm so happy.
2 dozen.
Really, really good. I kind of just automatically ranked the significance. And isn't it great that they started out with GTA 5 coming to PS5 right at the bottom? Because I'm just like, oh, I didn't have to move that. Didn't have to copy paste that one.
But only showing PS4 footage of it?
Yeah,
The
that
thing
was
that may
so
make
weird.
more money than any of these other games. That's
Yeah,
just like,
combined.
not now. It's the thing about, before we put on anything else, the thing about GTA 5 is, do we not talk about it at all, or do we talk about it for 30 minutes? Because that's so fascinating to me.
I would rather not talk about it for 30
that
minutes.
it
please.
showed up at the
Let's
beginning
not.
of this press conference. Just what weird elevator, how many
Rockstar's
cigars were
check
smoked
cleared.
over this conversation?
Rockstar's check cleared. That's
I think it's so
Why,
weird,
if you're
Jones.
Rockstar, why spend that money? I think that money's coming anyway. You know, no
I
matter
think they
what
make
you
the
do
most
today.
money
Why
off
not
of probably the
spend it?
PS5
Sleep in
version
today,
or
Rockstar. What do
PlayStation versions. I don't know.
Jones, I think it's more bizarre because when we saw the PS4 version, the remaster, that debut trailer was awesome. It showed first person, it showed new visuals, and we only just saw the PS4 version today, so it was very strange.
Oh,
ta-
I get it. Yeah.
We've taken a little bit of time away from this thing. How is in general is everybody feeling about this? I mean, obviously the people on this panel, but also just the internet. People seem pretty excited. I love scrolling through my timeline and it's just games.
People. Oh, you go.
Oh, I mean, the only thing I've really had time to see is there's a whole lot of people that don't like the design of the console, and so,
But in the best ways.
So there's a lot of making fun of it, but yeah, it seems like it's bigger than I expected.
Yeah, the making fun thing I get. I mean, because it's different. I don't know if it reflected in my reactions and stuff, but at time to sit on it, like honestly, I love it. Anything that does not look like a normal console, that's not symmetrical, that isn't looking like a box, I'm all for. The thing looks like futuristic. Yes, it can look like a air vacuum or air filter or whatever thing, or it can look like a router or whatever joke's been made. Sure, you can, like, I think a lot of these systems get like those joke phases and stuff, but in general it was sleek, it was different, like the two-tone color thing with the black and white and like the blue light panel stuff. Like I'm happy. It just doesn't look like the same old stuff we've seen for years now.
Yeah, I kind of second Damiani. Like, I don't love it or hate it. I think I'm closer to liking it than disliking it. But yeah, I appreciate that they're taking a chance, making something that looks different. I also think the Xbox Series X looks really cool. It's like two different versions of what you can do to try to look future. You know, you can go like Monolith, or you can go weird like Mass Effect spaceship, Destiny helmet, whatever. And I think it looks cool. I don't know.
I just
nothing
really
to get upset about.
Yeah, for sure, Ian. I think the big thing though is I hope it comes in other colors, because like I'm imagining it in my living room and it just will stick out like a sore thumb. Like my
Hubert,
house.
Describe this thing for me.
It's like Ian said.
What's going to be in your living room? What is this thing?
The PlayStation?
Yeah. What does it look like?
It
For
looks-
listeners at home. They're like, I'm just getting home from work. I missed it. Haven't
It
seen the headlines."
looks like a prop from a Mass Effect game. Like honestly, like you would find it on a desk in Mass Effect or something. It's very futuristic, very sleek, and
It's like a sexy clam.
yeah.
It's like if you had an Oreo with the filling on the outside.
That's
It's like the Oreo when it hits the milk. In the slow-mo.
Yeah.
It's like
PlayStation
two,
Taco.
It's like two melted Airhead candies.
Yeah.
Do you
But-
make a console that looks like that to be provocative, or do you make it because you legitimately are like, yes, that looks sweet?
I think they
Bit
did
of
it the other
both.
way around. I mean, if that image that we saw where it is like head and shoulders bigger than this Xbox or the PlayStation 2 or 3 or 4, I mean, like it seems to me that they made the console, tried to get it as small as they could, and were like, well, this thing's blasted huge. How are we going to just not make it look like a small PC? Throw some wings on it, you know?
Wings, yeah, that's a good way to describe that.
Because like definitely, I think they had a box and they're like, well, it just looks like a big PC tower.
Also like the airflow, like that. I wonder if the design is facilitating that as well. Because I mean, it kind of looked like that was part of the form factor.
Yeah, they're really big vents on
better.
top.
Yeah.
And the breakdown that they had for the Xbox Series X like really went into, you know, how much work that they have put into the airflow, and I'm sure, you know, PlayStation 5 is similar. One thing I'm really curious about is how the size compares to the PlayStation 3, the original,
Yeah.
because I think it might be around that ballpark.
The most important thing to me is noise, you know? If this
Yeah.
thing is quiet, 10 out of 10. Like, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how big it is. If this thing just is quiet, that is by far the most important thing for me.
Yeah, it really is at a point where I pretty much have to play games with headphones because otherwise I would have to put the volume so loud on the speakers that it would disturb neighbors, you know?
Same, Blibber.
Well, you're in luck because this has zesty new matching headphones too.
Yeah, that was such a bizarre thing.
So whether or not they come boxed or not, I don't think they will.
1000% will not come boxed.
Well, I mean, they showed two SKUs. They showed a discless version, the digital edition, and then the one with the disc reader.
Yeah, that's just the PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
in
someone
that shot, it was just two PS5s and two controllers, basically, one each.
Yeah, but you'd imagine maybe the discless version would be cheaper, but at the same time, maybe instead of like confusing people at different price points, just having a fixed price point. Maybe my roommate actually gave me this idea. They were bringing it up when we were talking about this. Maybe the discless version comes with some of those accessories to offset to keep it at the same price point, which they didn't reveal price point also, but. I don't know. I can see them doing both, but I like that. I like them having it both in front. In fact, I'll say this now. I'm probably going to get the discless version up front because they're probably going to do a PS5 Pro at some point, which will have the disc drive. And by then, like, I'll care about, you know, all the features and stuff. But I'm expecting this thing to cost a lot of money. And if for some reason discless version is going to be cheaper, I'm taking the discount.
Would backwards compatibility change your mind, though, Damiani?
Yeah, it could. It's something they did not talk about at all in this presentation. It's one of the key things.
But they have talked about in the past.
They have, but they haven't shown it off. They haven't shown off how it actually is going to look. There's still some ambiguity about. They keep saying, "Oh, we're improving the list. It's going to be better by launch. You still have time," and yet they're not as forthcoming, I think, as Microsoft has been. Microsoft seems way more confident in their abilities because it's been their specialty, I think. And yeah, Huber, if this doesn't have a large list of the games I already own that are going to be backwards compatibility, and there's like just no timetable, that will make me more inclined to go with the discless version. Just like, now I'm buying this for the new games and stuff. I'm going to have to keep my PS4 around for a while too.
Nice.
And we did get a lot of games today when I really wanted to figure out what was happening this year, because I saw a lot of 2021. I saw a lot of, there are a lot of games they talked about today that don't have any release dates. And they're still saying, you know, we didn't get a price point. We did not get an exact date of when we're going to get this holiday season or before the end of 2020. But I wanted to figure out what games we are getting this year. And there are more than I thought there were. I think I have 9 here on this list. Some that we knew about, some that we have just found out about.
Nice, Jones. Thanks for doing this. This is hype. Let's go.
Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to PlayStation 5.
Oh my god.
No, that's next year. That's not coming this year.
Next year.
Oh, that's not happened this year? Oh, I thought that was
2021.
Never mind. Put it on the next list.
Down to 8.
thought you were trolling us.
Astro's Playroom, you're just going to get automatically. It's packed in, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't
that's
mention that.
bundled. Man.
Yeah, it's
A next-gen title announced to be free.
Yeah, there were a lot of things specifically that they didn't. A lot of like fun little details like that. Especially when you're
even like
talking
putting
about
it
the
on
console.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need that Microsoft lower third game. Bug Snacks.
I'm sort of glad they don't have the Microsoft Lower Third game. I was thinking this during the presentation where it was like, at the end when they were like designed exclusively for PS5 and stuff. Like, it would have robbed us of that fun of like, what the hell does that mean if it had said that like right up top. Also, I just think it kind of ruins the... Because, like, there have been times in a Microsoft press conference where it shows the name of a game, like, immediately. Like, the Demon Souls thing, it would have said, like, Demon Souls Remastered, coming... And it'd be like, okay, well, I guess no more mystery. So I'm glad they don't. Sorry, Bug Snacks.
It's like rush. It's like rushing to a logo screen at the end, or
Yeah.
how you start and stop. Very, very important for a trailer. I say again though, Bug Snacks
Great launch game.
Snacks, yeah.
from the Octodad team, which of course this is going to make sense, but yeah, this is a group stream. This is eye-opening.
Oh, yeah.
This is weird.
Looks like a good game. Nothing about it screamed PS5 to me though. Everything,
sure.
It looked. Is it also a cross-gen game? Because there's a lot of thing. There are several games in this presentation that are actually cross-gen and weren't made clear in the presentation. Like Kenna is a cross-gen game. It's going to PS4. I was like, wait, what? That looked absolutely PS5, but I don't know how this is gonna look on PS4.
Yeah,
but
Bugsnax is totally cross-gen. It says PS5, PS4, and PC.
Got it.
yeah, I mean, with again, like what Hugh was talking about, the backwards compatibility. If it runs on both, cool.
But with that art style, it's like, that's just how they probably wanted it to look. Like, it didn't look technologically limited to me. It just looked like that's the style they went for, you know? Same thing with Goodbye Volcano High, which is like, even the frame rate was kind of low. It's just like, that's because that's the animation style. Maybe they didn't have the budget, whatever. But it's like, that's just a choice, you know? Whereas, like, I think don't crucify me for this, but like Resident Evil 8 to me looked not quite as good as I thought it would, like graphically.
It was some frame rate issues.
Yeah, it had some frame rate
Yeah.
issues I saw.
Well, and like you mentioned the faces looking good, and I'm like, they look good for now, but they don't look PS5 good. Like, Old Man looked like decent current gen. It didn't blow my mind, you know? Whereas like Project Aetha or whatever, her face looked really, really good.
It looked
I
but it looked rough, too.
mostly agree with you, but I'm wondering how much that'll change when you like see it in action versus stream. Like, I feel like that gap is getting even more extreme now with like streaming versus seeing it in person.
Absolutely, but also like even within the Resident Evil 8 trailer, the graphic quality seemed to be inconsistent. Like the little branches at the beginning looked bad, and then stuff in the village looked like Resident Evil 7, you know, like RE Engine, and then it gets to that mansion, and like maybe it's just reflective surfaces like shinier wood, whatever. But like the witches and the mansion and stuff, like I'm like, this stuff looks great.
Yeah.
So it's like really weird disconnect because it's like that box full of potatoes look kind of whatever, but this mansion looks phenomenal. So it's like, I don't know.
Box of potatoes.
Yeah, I think that game's just slated for 2021. So I'm curious whether that's actually the latter half of 2021 and they just really have a long way to go.
Or
I
if
think
it's cross-gen.
That rawness, Ian, I think is what Microsoft was afraid of when they were just like, we can't really just show you what these games look like when they're running now. We just kind of want to show you the idea of it. And Sony's like, nope, we want to leapfrog off of what they did. We definitely want to show. There's that like super dramatic moment at the beginning where they're like, everything from this point on. Like,
Do you think maybe it's like an older version of RE Engine that's not maybe quite optimized yet for PS5 that they had it running on or something?
Could have something to do with VR.
Something, yeah. I don't know if it's something like that. Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, because you guys were saying you want it to be VR, I'm like, I don't. If it's gonna hold the game back, like if it's gonna have to run on PSVR or whatever. And I mean, obviously they can just scale it, but like, if it's gonna impact the game, I'm like, shoot for the moon, fellas. Like, but this will be cross-gen, right?
I don't think it is.
Resident Evil is not. I'm looking at the press release. It's PS5, Xbox Series X, and Steam.
Wow, cool. All right. Well, I like that. That's good news, I guess.
Did we feel that VR held back RE7?
I don't at all. I mean, when you play in VR, it looks obviously a little worse, but I love having the option to do.
And that's PC
either or.
VR as well, right? Not just PSVR. That's like Oculus and Vive, right?
They might have added that later. I'm pretty sure it's only PlayStation
That
first.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it ever came out. other than PSVR.
Are
Yeah,
you,
that's true.
or maybe also assuming that this is coming out like in early 2021 because they did not give a date or they gave a year, but they didn't do like the January or early.
Right.
This could come out at the end of 2021, so there might be some more work to be done on this. So is this showing off? You
Totally.
know, this is a very early form of it.
They did show a lot though. And like Resident Evil, like their cycle has typically been like we get one in the early part of the year, so that was my assumption. But
Like Resident Evil
yeah,
7.
maybe you're right.
7 came out in January.
Yeah,
I'm also
and-
I'm also gonna think the current COVID situation probably might have tacked on some
absolutely.
time to that. So I don't feel as confident that it'd be like a January or early 2021 game. Not saying it can't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in the latter half of the year. Sorry.
I was thinking March at the earliest, but yeah,
Yeah, Resident Evil 3 was April.
yeah.
Oddworld Soulstorm wanted you to know that it was coming to the PlayStation 5. This is a game that I have played. I checked it out at E3 last year. Remember E3?
Yeah.
Remember that? E3
No.
thing? Yeah.
What's that?
It used to be a way to do these things. You know, check out the game, talk to him, not just like through a screen. Did this seem odd to anybody? Does it seem okay? Is this worth remarking
That's
on?
very
or should-
odd.
World.
Yeah.
Looks good to me. I'm a little behind on my Oddworld lore, so I definitely didn't get the full intended impact of this trailer. But the stakes seemed high, which I really liked. Looks cool.
It looks so serious because when it was introduced,
Yeah,
it said
it's
like
not-
laugh hilariously at failure, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there didn't seem anything really comical about this. I mean, maybe the
Right.
situations will be like dark humor, but the trailer, as you said, Hubert, came off completely like the stakes are high, super intense and serious. Like the whole part where is its name Abe, the main character?
Yeah.
Cutting off like the bindings on its mouth to speak. I was like, this is intense. This is intense.
Yeah.
I thought of that line when he's like, laugh hilariously at failure, and then I like the shot from the trailer where like a bunch of your friends get hit by like a truck
Yeah.
and just like smash into bloody pieces. I'm just like, ha 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 ha. Yeah.
It's like, am I supposed to laugh? Is there something wrong?
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
That's what's
so
really good about a
funny.
Judge's Week appointment, because you can just like stand over people while they're playing the demo and laugh at them when they fail.
The Oddworld games for me have always been like not my kind of grotesque, I guess. Like they've just not appealed to me really. So I don't know.
Jet the Far Shore, which I can't recall how many things we have experienced from the Super Brothers, who's joining up with Pine Scented for this one. This is just question mark 2020. But yeah, it looked interesting, but can't really, I mean, I guess there's a lot of like skimming we're going to be doing on the water and just
Yeah.
like these are developers that really like you to be very far away from your protagonist or have the protagonist fill a very like below style, a very massive environment. So we're going up into space. They will probably scale it up that way. But,
It looks like there's a lot. It looks like either there's a lot going on, or there are cutscenes, and then the gameplay is all just hovercraft on the planet. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm looking at the description and stuff now.
I'm afraid that, and tell me if this is justified. Launch games having the expectation of being a technical showpiece, and is that fair? Because this game didn't look like a technical showpiece, but it looked awesome. But it's not something where it's like you need to play this on PS5. This is PS5.
Yeah, I thinking what I said earlier, Huber, when I was talking about bug snacks, I just realized that these types of games need to be on like every platform. Like the more platforms are, the better it is for games, and that these types of games need to exist and still continue to sell. And you're right, Huber. Not every game needs to be a showpiece for this. And I think overall the conference did a good enough job of showing things that looked next gen or give us the inclination of next gen, at least first wave of games where they could afford to have this, whereas versus like Microsoft's event last month didn't really accomplish that. I feel like I think we were getting so much of these types of games in the Microsoft presentation, whereas Sony was doing a good job of like, we're showing you other things that get you excited, but we also want to talk about these other games as well.
And Hubert, just get into the headspace of these developers. when you're just kind of being tossed around, like, are we going to go Sony? Are we going to maybe, like, do we have a Switch port later? Are we coming to free on Epic Game Store? Like, what do we want? You know, like, what events do we want to be a part of? Because you sign up for stuff like this, and then the event turns out not to be that exciting. And you're like, well, we're just making a game over here. We didn't have any idea we were going to be paired next to that or following that announcement that pissed everybody off. Or
Well, and something I actually quite liked about this press conference, direct, whatever it was, Future of Gaming event, was that it wasn't all just graphical showpiece after graphical showpiece. That they like had these more artistic, smaller games like this, and Kenna and Bugsnax and stuff, and Goodbye Volcano High and stuff. Like, it shows that, you know, the next gen feeling isn't just like bleeding edge tech stuff. It can be cool little fun ideas, and like maybe Jet like really takes advantage of that SSD and like loads perfectly and stuff like that. Like maybe it's leveraging the tech in another way that isn't immediately clear. Who knows? But I mean, I think with Jet specifically, and I mean, it seems kind of early, so who knows? But it raised my curiosity, which I guess is all it needed to do.
There's still a dense amount of information in the press release, but it's coming to PS5, PS4, and Epic Game Store. But the creative director says, there's a type of video game I've longed for, a traditional enough console action adventure that can reel me in with character, story, and concept, but that then lets me cut loose, go fast, be clever, and soak in rich audio and music. So there's just seems like there's a lot going on in this. Like they talk about like a 5-act adventure, and then they talk about this big end game. And yeah. It's like
Seems
you've got
cool.
exploration and flying and ground control, and yeah, it has a lot happening.
So that and Bugsnax, I think, were the two of the things happening this year were two things we did not know about. And I think certainly for a launch lineup, I think it behooves anybody.
There's Spider-Man.
We know about Spider-Man. You know, again, it's Spider-Man's Miles isn't coming
know about
totally out of
Spider-Man.
nowhere. We know about the character Spider-Man. We know Insomniac is
see.
going to make a new Spider-Man game. But
Spider-Man?
Who's
Who's
we'll get to that.
Spider-Man?
We can't talk about Spider-Man before we talk about NBA 2K21.
We could.
Next gen sweat.
A little tease.
Yeah.
That was that's like the sports showcase for next gen.
The
They do
Fury
this
on
with
his
either
face.
Madden or whatever it is. They show a short thing. It's usually something that's not reflective of what the actual game experience will be, because I was watching Maximilian Dude's reaction after this, and I think he rightfully called it out. Let's see if every single player in that game has that level of detail,
Sure,
like
of
that
course.
amount of sweat and stuff coming off of them. Probably not. So, but I mean, it's good to it's a good tease of to get your imagination thinking about what could next gen be. Oh, whoa, look at this. This is a great looking face. Whoa, that sweat, that looks so good. I've never seen sweat like that before. I don't know, gets
I
you
thought
kind of
half
excited.
the sweat looked good and half looked really weird. Like the beads and stuff that were moving looked really good, but then on his face and on his leg, he just had a decal of sweat streaks.
Gotcha.
You know, weird wetter parts that were immobile. They looked strange to me. They looked like they were just a stamp placed on the side of his face. Everything else looked incredible. Those just stood out to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's
Damiani,
me.
if Max does a follow-up sweat count at launch, can you update us on that?
Want to take bets? No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see. We got to get through one betting special, and then we'll move on to the next one.
What if a presentation, that one, the Unreal one talked about all the triangles. What if they were in this game we can simulate 42 trillion individual beads of sweat on the player.
Sweat on the court. Sweat on the
Sweat-
shoes.
Sweat
on the
can
ball.
get on the ground and become a hazard later in the game.
They do the triangle thing where they look look at all the sweat. And they just this is just the sweat in one game.
Yeah, they take everything
looking
but the sweat away.
It's it's
This
on the
is sweat
chairs on
render.
the side. They're just because he sat down for a little bit, and they
One guy in the audience
That's
is just
whatever.
a concentration of sweat. It's just what's that guy's got a fever? What's going on?
NBA 2K21 is going to sell a lot, but we're getting down to the 3 games coming out at the end of 2020 on PlayStation 5, according to this video, that I think are the big heavy hitters. Obviously, none of them are going to make as much money as Grand Theft Auto 5 being free, but that's not until 2021. Godfall, I think, had the worst showing of these. This is from Gearbox Publishing and Counterplay Games. Two different companies made these trailers. At least the two trailers I've seen for this. We got one Game Awards reveal of this, and then this was just off to the races with, y'all know this game and how silly it is. Let's check out some combat. And we're all like, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess we saw this trailer that didn't really tell us anything. So no, we don't know anything about this game.
Yeah, it felt like, because the Gearbox logo is the only thing that makes sense. Like,
Sure.
it makes it feel like, okay, it's a Gearbox game still. Like, that kind of mentality is there where it's, like, kind of light and fun and, like, zany. But nothing I'm seeing, yeah, like you said, reflect. And then it was, like, earn armor. And I'm like, okay, so it's, like, that kind of game, I guess, And I guess maybe my memory of that Game Awards trailer just isn't good, because I don't remember anything really about it.
It was just dudes in super huge armor looking up at some like giant UFO looking castle spaceship thing that was crashing down.
It was kind of serious, right?
It was very purple and red and yellow, and it was just very bold, like with colors, and just
Right.
You didn't see anybody's face. It was just like shiny armor. And so like, okay, I'm looking forward for a little bit more, and they're just like straight to gameplay. That's all you really need to see from this.
Which is awesome. Like, I'm glad we saw gameplay, but
very fast cuts.
just an interesting
Swimming in sevens here,
musical
Cuber.
choice.
What do you think of Godfall? What are we?
I don't know. No real opinion. It gave me a MOBA Smite vibe. I still don't really know what it is. I always prefer gameplay over cinematics, but there was nothing really to hold on to get hyped about.
Yeah, it just feels like super focused on loot, but not in any like particularly new or interesting way.
So,
And then
I
it was
don't know.
just hard to focus on anything when you've got this music blaring that doesn't feel like it fits at all.
And the combat seemed fine, but without really diving into the actual mechanics, it's hard to really see if it'll be good. It's looked flashy, but it's like,
Yeah.
what am I actually doing?
Well, and it's
during
an example
combat.
of like just how editing, how too much editing can hurt you, because I kind of went away with it without knowing what the combat is actually like, because I could take any game and cut it like that and make it look like, it's just and it like doesn't show
Never stop
like,
moving.
Right, like I could take some super deliberate like one slash every couple of minutes game and make it look like that, and put a upbeat song on it.
It was funny,
really
like
good point.
slow-mo going through Ghostwire Tokyo and seeing him doing like fire attack. It's
Yeah,
like he
yeah.
loves that fire attack, but it's so fast when you just watch the trailer. You're like, yeah, fire! Woo!
Yeah, even the email they sent out with the trailer doesn't say anything different. It's like weapon classes, armor sets,
Save us, email.
fast-paced melee combat. I'm like, okay, I got it. Looter slasher, got it.
Yeah, is it match-based multiplayer, or is it a adventure? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Well, and the weird thing is like, this trailer made me think this trailer was bad. It didn't make me think the game, like, it didn't make me
Right.
write the game off, Like,
Exactly.
I'm like, I just want to know what the game is actually like, but not in like not in a curious way like Jet, more just like, well, I guess we'll wait and see what this game actually is, Because the game could be sweet. Who knows?
They
It
handed
does
out their
say-
marketing to a bunch of different companies, so we're gonna get the next trailer is gonna be very somber. It's all really just gonna be focused on story. It's gonna be all these characters that are
It's gonna
finally
be like The
introduced.
Godfather.
Lots of VO.
It does say up to 3-player co-op on
I was
the
wondering,
website.
what multiplayer was.
So it's like a Diablo? Like, what the
Yeah,
what
I
the
think
hell
it's like
is
a Diablo.
Okay.
Cool. Well, that
It's like a Diablo.
gets me a little more
but with
hyped.
Spider-Man.
That honestly gets
get
me more
there.
hyped. And I didn't know that from watching the trailer, so...
During the
enjoy.
presentation, while watching them trailers, Huber, you said Deathloop was your favorite thing. To that point, it might have changed.
Trailer.
After that.
Yes, I love that trailer. Oh my goodness. It gets the tone and the vibe and everything about the game. You know the stakes. You are instantly attached to this character. Both of them, the protagonist and the antagonist. I am very hyped on Deathloop. This looked awesome. This was a great showing, especially coming off of the first trailer that we saw a while back that was the cinematic. Now we get to see gameplay. It was just a really, really solid follow-up trailer. Excellent.
This trailer, it's funny, yeah, because you said protagonist and antagonist, because the other trailer gave me the impression that
they
they're
both-
like equal,
Yeah.
like they're both the
Totally.
protagonist.
Yeah, I'm
and
right
this
there with
one,
you.
I thought that right as I was saying it. I was like, wait, maybe they're both antagonists or protagonists.
Right.
Like, you don't
Well,
Well,
really
everyone's
know.
hunting this guy,
Yeah.
and he was like the first person voice of this
Yeah.
trailer. So yeah, you would tend to side with him as the protagonist.
Wasn't there a shot near the end where you were from her perspective?
you were her, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other
so-
trailer had both of their voices intercut. So I think maybe if
Yeah.
we see another trailer, it'll be from her perspective.
Could
It
be.
looks so cool. Oh, that game looks so
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
And you
Very
know,
cool concept.
obviously heavy on the Dishonored vibes. I mean,
Is it the
he was
same
doing
studio?
Arcane.
same Arcane Studios.
Okay,
he was
yeah,
doing like the blink strike. Like a lot
Yeah.
of the moves looked very similar.
But guns.
Yeah.
It just didn't have that much gunplay. And from the just the other games that they have done, and they did Prey as well, right? This
Yep.
is kind of
Yeah.
more. I remember Prey being more stealth. Was there a lot of pew pew in Prey?
Like Dishonored, where you're primary stealth, but then when shit goes down, it's like, all right, time to bring out the guns.
Yeah, I think this is probably a bit more focused on action.
Yeah, agreed.
But
It does kind of have a raucous bullet storm vibe. But it was, you just imagine, you see all the crazy juggling videos that came out from Dishonored 1 and 2, just people like throwing a knife and it killing somebody like 60 seconds later when it comes back down. I imagine people are excited about doing a lot of crazy things, and it seems so perfect for the studio. And just like Huber said, it was a great showing.
Yeah, Jones trailer, man. What do you think of the trailer? Did
I
it
hope
hit
this-
you as hard as me?
The only thing, you know what, I went back and watched it again. It was one of those things when I was rewatching stuff for the podcast. It's like these gameplay clips are so great, and they're so just like Godfall, where we were like, okay, the titles are doing one thing and the music is doing another thing, and this gameplay is doing a totally different thing. All this was so in sync, and
Yeah.
just the attitude of it was just very.
The title
that was-
treatment at the end was so good.
Yeah,
Interesting
dude.
choice. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting choice where the people kind of look like crash test dummies, but they actually are people. And like, I don't know if I want this game to make too much sense. He's like, I got to get to the bottom of what's going on. It's like, don't take too long. I'm just gonna have fun running around. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be, to mention Corvo again, like at a Corvo level, with loss and the characters that you're
I wonder if it's
are beloved in that franchise.
I wonder if it's all an experiment and they're like downloading your skill until you get it perfect or something.
well, I mean, that's kind of what it alluded to, right? That like, every loop I learn a little bit more, and so it makes me feel like there's somewhat of a
Or was that-
roguelike.
That was Returnal, where she said that too.
Yeah.
Dude, throw some roguelike elements in here. Oh my gosh, Blood, I didn't even think of that. Awesome. I love roguelike mechanics. Just getting a little better, a little stronger. That's really cool.
Yeah. What's the speed run time on a loop?
Yeah.
And we're getting a Spider-Man game, a brand new Spider-Man game, this holiday season. Yeah.
Is that like a Lost Legacy kind of a game, or is it
It really feels like it, right?
full sequel?
There's Spider-Man. Boy, that thing is going to sell.
Oh baby, yeah.
I mean, I just think I'm a little nervous because the sentiment that I'm seeing online, a lot of people are like, oh, cool, yay, a new Spider-Man. And like, to me, no question, this is going to be way less content than, I don't know if the price is going to suggest that, or I would just be very surprised if this is as big of a game as the first Spider-Man. If we kept bringing up Lost Legacy, I mean, obviously that's another PlayStation exclusive.
I don't know. What was the year on Spider? That was 2018, right?
Yeah.
And they've got like a lot of the hard stuff down, like swinging and all of that figured
Zip.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how much content? Like, assuming they didn't change anything in the gameplay or engine, which they had to do some because Miles can turn invisible.
Yeah.
But like, how much content could they make in 2 years?
Yeah, Ian, like, you don't need to remake New York, really. You've
Yeah.
already got it all right.
Right. And like, there was some other like weird things in Spider-Man that weren't New York, so they could leverage some of that too.
Just let me go in Miles' apartment.
There's one shot of
it.
him with the jacket up. He's just walking down the street. I'm like, I like this.
Yeah.
I'm curious where that's going. They don't really show any other characters, just focused on him. But of course, like, once you're in that city, like, there's a lot of other people that could potentially be there. And I just think so much of this makes sense. It just, of course, obviously, if you play Spider-Man, like this makes sense for him to be the protagonist. This makes sense as something that could be a placeholder for, eventually having like either both of them playable in Spider-Man 2 or picking up where that story left off. And I think
Co-op.
we didn't, yeah, sure. And we didn't I think we saw the perfect amount of this. I think, again, I remember that's the thing, the DLC trailers for the first Spider-Man were also very short. They're about the same length. So I just wonder, like, if this is maybe going to be about that size. But we don't know, just 2020. Insomniac is very busy. We will get to them down the road as well. But moving on to 2021, did you know that Grand Theft Auto 5 will be free on PlayStation 5 in 2021? Also, Damiani, Stray from Annapurna and Blue 12 Studio is coming in 2021.
Yeah. Cat meow.
Yeah. Cat meow.
It was world where humans don't exist anymore. Robots have like taken over the role of like. We didn't really give any story elements. I mean, I didn't look close enough to the trailer to analyze like any of the graffiti or the verbiage being used on signs and stuff like that. But robots have basically just taken the place of humans, like a bartender, like going about their daily business, and clearly cats have survived. And delivery cat or something, like carrying this like pack on its back, and curious, exploring, checking out all these robots, maybe checking in on them if they're okay, and just a cute, adorable cat just exploring this world with no humans and stuff. And at the end, it just like perks up and meows at you, and that was the moment I said I have to pre-order and get this immediately. This is a top 5 game right here.
Doesn't matter what the PS5 looks like.
Doesn't matter. The cat meow was perfect.
The last sentence here. Players must untangle an ancient mystery to escape a long-forgotten cyber city and find the way home.
Oh.
Homeward Bound 3.
Maybe the cat doesn't belong there. Ooh.
But I see people pointing out that it's not only just the robot and the cat. They don't see dogs. They don't see birds. They don't see, it's just potentially just cats. Make it out.
There are dangerous creatures, though.
Uh-oh.
I would love, Damiani, that backpack, weaponized, do we think? The lasers, rockets, like grenades?
You want to
Some kind of EMP?
go Ratchet and Clank here? Okay.
An EMP at least, on a cooldown.
I'm imagining it might get to the level of like, Puss in Boots or like Sly Cooper, like, like maybe there's like some like grappling hook and like some things to like sneak around. It's kind of like a cat burglar. You're just like sneaking around and stuff. Don't want to be caught. You got to be cautious in this world because you don't belong here. Maybe you're at a place and you're just trying to find a way out. That'd be amazing. Like playing as a cat trying to find a way out of a city because of how much more things they have access to. That'll be something.
I would love it bringing back humans. Finding humans or learning more about humans has nothing to do with this game. Like, the civilization's just like, whatever.
Just gone.
Yeah.
You're like, the mystery's got to solve. Is that about humans? They're like, no, there's no mystery there. We were dumb and we made robots and then died. And cats didn't.
I would love it if the robots, like, you find out halfway through, it's just like, the robots just killed them all. Like, the robots rebelled, killed all the humans. Whatever. Living our lives now.
They felt sorry after. They felt emotion.
I feel bad because the first thing I thought of when Solar Ash dropped on us was the game where the wolf guy, pointy ear, skating through the sky, where he's in New York and he's skating. What is it, the Wachowskis? What is the
Jupiter Ascending.
Yes.
Oh.
Jupiter Ascending.
Oh,
Kind of Jupiter Ascending vibes, yeah. But thankfully, Solar Ash is way cooler than that. Is it Heart Machines or Heart Machine Z?
Heart Machine.
Just Heart Machine.
There's no Z. Oh, Z on the end there on Twitter, I think. Snuck a Z.
Yeah,
in.
I don't know. It's just Heart Machine.
From Hyperlight Drifter. This it seems like something you were like, this.
I mean, my friends are making this.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, can we, I don't know, twist your arm?
Some singularity.
It looks cool.
Cool.
I know too much about it, so I can't I can't talk about it. But I mean, I don't know all that much, but yeah, it looks. I saw it a while back, and it looks much different. Like the art has advanced in big ways, but
Ian,
in keeping with what I saw.
can you sketch?
I can ask them.
Sketch and hype.
It would seem like an oversight if you can't sketch at some point on something.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah, no,
I-
it looks cool.
Not
I-
enough
I
rollerblading
think-
games. I love that, just that feeling. You know, it's a cool
it gets-
thing
yeah.
to do.
I like how the trailer like spun the thing so you were skating upside down and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But yeah, I think kind of the best way to picture it is like it's like Hyper Light Drifter, but in a full 3D space. You know, very similar in terms of the art style and all of that.
Art style, yeah. The gameplay I'd say is pretty different, but it's got their style for sure.
They say that you explored the Ultra Void, an unstoppable rift of despair, ripping through space.
So it's a documentary.
What does this have to do with Sony? Is this going to be exclusive for a little bit?
It is
or
exclusive.
just straight up
All three of the
exclusive?
Annapurna games are exclusive.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Stray, Solar Ash, and The Pathless.
Kind of gives me
exclusive forever?
is anything.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
For
how often
now.
is something exclusive forever?
Yeah.
Like, Journey just came out on Steam, so.
right.
Forever. And then we got our 3 heavy hitters in 2021. All of them being played by Michael Huber, I think. I think Huber is going to play all of these games. Hitman 3 starting it off.
Oh my god, yes.
You thought I was going to go straight to Resident Evil to talk about.
I thought you were gonna go
straight
Ratchet
to
and
Huber,
Clank.
straight to Huber's heart. You're gonna have to wait a little bit. Well, potentially gonna have to wait longer for Ratchet and Clank. We don't know yet, but Hitman 3, dude.
I know.
End of a trilogy. That was
Yes.
something they kind of focus on a little bit, but I mean that's an interesting decision. I wonder if what you do as a team, if they're like, okay, this Hitman, train has been fun, but it's time to get off.
Yeah, coming off like Blood Money, I think is the absolute culmination of the original games, and then we stumbled with Absolution, and now it just feels so good with this reboot trilogy, like better than Hitman's ever been, and like the story has been simmering in the background. It's really been simmering, the double crosses, the conspiracies. So I really hope this one brings it all home. Because even like Hitman Season 1 had a cool story in the background, but it was really minor. It didn't get in the way. They were all about like, yo, we want you to just be able to replay these levels, and it's all about the gameplay. I really hope they find a way to just drive this story home and wrap it all up in a cool way.
Very
you think
interesting
that-
details here.
Do you think that they'll go in a whole other direction and like make it less of an episodic thing and more of a linear story again, or?
Yeah,
I've got that answer. It's going to be available all at launch day.
Yeah,
Ah,
I remember them saying that.
But here's what gets a little crazy. So Hitman 3 will act as a platform for the entire trilogy, making it possible for players to import locations they own from
They love it.
previous
Yeah.
Hitman games
Nice.
Like
They love
it,
doing
like
that.
and play
two,
all
yeah.
20 locations from the trilogy in one place.
So great. So you can just
PS5.
You'll also
Buy
carry
this,
over
play 'em all.
unlocks from Hitman 2.
oh, cool.
yeah, the journey, 47's journey.
See,
Yeah.
that to me, that's some next gen stuff right there. Like, I love seeing these where like even games that don't seem like a living game just turn out to be a living game later. Mm-hmm. Like Destiny
So
thing
cool.
and all that. Yeah.
Ian, you were saying that Resident Evil didn't look the best. This was actually the only game, the only one shown where I was like, when they showed a bit of the gameplay, it looked last gen. But
Basically
honestly,
the same. Yeah.
yeah, but honestly, like, I don't even care. Because, like, Hitman 2, I think, still looks awesome. It's not the best showpiece, but I still think it looks really cool. I think they do environments really well compared to character animations and models. I think the environments are always the best.
Yeah.
Kind of their
Just
focus. Yeah.
Yeah, just the scope of everything, like how big buildings are and stuff. So if they just get that, that's all you really need. Now, Ben put that idea in my head, man. I need a hockey mask in those woods.
Hockey
Is that just a
masks not
cutscene, or is that
copyrighted.
the first level? What a great first level! Just a really bare bones forest, and dudes with flashlights, and so you can like grab their flashlight and throw it and distract them that way. Or
Yeah, it'll be, especially now that we're crossing gens here. The improvements from 2 to 1 were minor, like the additions. They added the suitcase. They didn't add too much, so I'm wondering if it'll be in the same vein as 1 and 2, or if they'll really start adding a bunch of
they
things.
are talking up like they've got some surprises in here.
Cool.
So.
It's weird though, because like if it is backwards compatible or whatever, where you can import levels from 1 and 2, they can't then make huge sweeping changes that would negate stuff from the first 2 games. Like they have to be compatible enough. I mean, unless they pull, a kind of like Mario Maker thing where it's like, even though it's this style, you can have this thing in it, like whatever.
Yeah. They had that with 1 and 2, like you could use your things in 2 and the levels in 1, but it was, again, like you were saying, is very minor.
Hubert, when you looked at Hitman 3 and it was kind of the one thing that maybe didn't look as good as you thought it was going to, or maybe didn't look as good as other things. I kind of feel that about Ghostwire Tokyo just a little bit. Not that I don't think that game's going to be rad, but visually it was a little held back. And I'm just talking just raw resolution. Like that game looks extremely colorful, but like I was expecting a little bit more traversal. I was expecting a little more darkness. It was very bright for being like, I think 100% at night. It was just very...
Tokyo's a bright city.
It is.
Yeah.
That is
very
true.
lit.
Ghostwire Tokyo arriving in 2021. Shinji showing up to say hi to everybody through the video, Hubert. How do we feel? Other people. Those are my thoughts on Ghostwire, but had not seen this game run. Did not know it was first person.
Yeah, first person.
Yeah.
Huge. What?
The finger movements and
Yeah.
stuff were really
ripping the
cool.
shiny heart out of
Weaving
Slenderman.
Naruto jutsu symbols. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys go.
I was just gonna say I was surprised as well that it was so actiony, and I mean maybe that's just this trailer, but like from the old trailer, and maybe it was just because I had Evil Within in my head, I don't know, but like I expected it to be less of a action horror, and like Huber, you were talking about how Mikami loves like resource management and stuff. But yeah, besides like if casting spells takes some kind of resource that they had the HUD turned off, I don't know what you're managing in this. Like it looked like you were just kind of slinging spells, doing whatever you wanted. Like
Yeah.
it's like Hexen out there. You're just like shooting guys with your magic, doing whatever you want.
Also some serious like parts. I felt like this was also like a Suda 51 inspired game with some like the visual stuff going on.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different a little different take of the art direction from like the first trailer. I was like, okay. I mean, it's intriguing. The first person stuff, is a little intense, but I guess they're like just not going for like that same type of horror vibe. It's just a very different style. Is the best I gather from it, and I don't know if that's. I'm not disappointed or anything like that. I just wonder if there are other people out there who might feel that way because they had different expectations.
It just changed what the game was in my mind. I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was thinking more stealth, running up and down rooftops. This is definitely like boss arena, or maybe that's just what they were focusing on. But it is very visually interesting and fun and creepy and weird, and a lot of the character design, the enemy design was really unnerving. And what the hell? What am I looking at exactly? And that's always fun.
You could see how they could get from Evil Within 1 to Evil Within 2 to this. Like it looks like a natural progression of a certain kind of idea, which is interesting.
I think what has me most excited and also scared, because like of the unknown, is the first person, obviously, because first person horror is amazing when it's done right, but it usually is about running and hiding. I think of maybe Condemned, and like that's a horror game, sure, but like there's nothing really action first-person horror. So I think it's freaking awesome that Mikami is like trying to tackle a new type of horror. Cause I think of like Outlast and Amnesia, and those are just, and Layers of Fear. Those games are so scary, but they all have the one thing in common where you're just running and hiding. So
I guess
just the possibility of a brand new type of horror game is just awesome.
Here's a weird question. Are we calling it a horror game just because it's Shinji Mikami? Like, are we just assuming it's a horror
Right.
game? Did they ever say it's a horror game?
Oh, I got
he at the
more. I got more like slow,
Ghost.
creepy character
Yeah.
reveal from the first teaser.
The first trailer felt like a horror game.
and
this
this was
feels
like
an action game with ghosts.
blistering. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just- and you were just owning stuff. It was not. There was not a lot of like, here comes that ghost thing. Oh, you got taken out.
And like
you were
grabbing your
just-
spirit friend out of the air onto your motorcycle.
slamming dudes. It was very like
Action
ninja.
hero.
They were like Ninja Gaiden moments. So it's just
Yeah.
it was just the game changed for me. First person
Jones.
horror, you say, Huber? Huber.
Jones, I love a good conspiracy theory. You know,
Okay.
if you were Bossman, I would throw this at you. So I'm gonna throw it at you. Do we think the tone and the first person vibes of this game is the reason Akumi Nakamura departed? Maybe this wasn't the type
man.
of horror game she wanted.
Japanese business. I no comment. Who knows?
Because
especially
yeah, like
especially the dev scene. It's just like who knows?
well, because that first trailer was so horror. It was that atmosphere, you know, so brooding, and this was stylish action.
Yeah.
I mean, it
just-
is very possible because there were shots in this that, like, I'm thinking of when you're in that tunnel or hallway downstairs or whatever, and there you see the shadows on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, there were parts of this that I could see being like a slower section of BioShock or something, where it's like a creepy thing. And it's very possible, again, that they just edited this trailer to show us the combat, and the pace of the game might be way slower. Like, maybe they were... The first
Sure.
one was very meditative and freaky. This one's very actiony, but like really, it's a combo of both. Like, is my assumption. But yeah, looks cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, there's a lot of
Tomas.
interesting stuff here on the PlayStation blog. They kind of outline 3 of the spirits and like derived from like different emotions and stuff. And then there's also this like group of people wearing masks who are like
Onbu,
attacking you too.
Damiani.
Yeah, the Onbu, yeah.
Onbu Black Ops. Third
What are they
party.
talking about? I don't know.
So many Naruto
Yeah.
inspirations here.
Is the absence of people? You remember when everybody vanishes? The first is that in the first trailer. Is that done for the sake of the story, for the emotional impact, or are we just clearing the streets to increase the frame rate? I don't know.
It's PS5, baby. They can put millions and billions of people.
That's
on
what
it.
they kept saying. They could do whatever they want now.
Well, it's weird because one of you guys said this during the trailer. There's like a digital element to it too. So I'm wondering if
Yeah, it
there's
was
some
way
kind of
more
like
techno.
Assassin's Creed element happening where you're like going into a simulation, or I don't know, but like the logo came on like digitally too, and
You're
like
ghost
the
hacking.
transitions. Yeah, you're ghost hacking, and it's like maybe if you're in the spirit world, you can't see living people, because like the guy you grab and put on your motorcycle, right? He's going from spirit form to human form. So maybe you can't interact with the other or something when you're...
well, it says 99% of the population has disappeared.
Wow.
99%.
The dream.
That's a brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's why you
it's-
gotta take motorcycles.
They also talk about with the hand gestures, they're tying them into the haptics and the adaptive triggers.
They better, man.
Curious
Just
how
one
that
fancy
feels.
graphic.
Oh my god, if you're doing
Wasn't enough
combos,
for me.
dude.
Yeah, what if you have to be
Yeah,
like
that's
moving your fingers? Oh, man.
Awesome.
And they talk up the 3D audio a lot too, like searching things out by sound.
Hubert, you don't need to worry about first-person horror, bro. You got Resident Evil Village.
Woo!
Resident Evil Village. Don't want to call it 8. It's so weird.
It's so weird.
The sequel to 7. Don't want to call it 8. Putting it
It's
in there.
simpler to not call it 8.
I think, yeah, it was, in that extra video that they said, I'm completely paraphrasing, but it just, to me, it sounded like they were like, yeah, we just like to piss people off. Like, it made us laugh, so we did it. They're like, we don't. It's like, why is 8 in the title there though? We're like, I don't know. To look at you when you ask that question, I guess. There is, nothing I don't want in this game. Maybe a little better frame rate. It's fine. I can take. Give me that game today. I'll play at that frame rate. It's fine.
Yes.
I can work that.
seriously.
It looks really cool.
Aesthetically, this is everything. I'm getting vibes of, again, Code Veronica 4, just in terms of like, it's not just the big business stuff. It's these personal stories that you have to kind of connect the dots and learn about what happened to these people. I wouldn't be opposed. Here's the question I throw at you, Huber. I wouldn't be opposed if it wasn't Ethan. I don't know. There was a vibe of this if they were like, Ethan's back. And it's like, I don't, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
He was a pretty whatever protagonist. Not in a
Pretty
bad
bland.
way.
Blank
He just never
canvas.
got in the way in 7. And so like to bring him back specifically, I hope it's not too much like, you know, all that Ethan baggage you had from 7. Like, I don't, Ian baggage is a completely separate category.
That's a
We're
whole.
We're not going to get through that in a PlayStation 5 game, I'll tell you that much.
I do appreciate it though, because he's so like on the bottom of all of these Resident Evil legends. So it's cool to be playing as him again and having, you know, one of the main characters, Chris Redfield, kind of be a potential antagonist.
Yeah,
Or
reinventing himself for the first time.
Yeah, and kind of being in the background or the sidelines of the games, because you know so many times we've been playing as Chris and Jill and Leon. It's cool to shake up those characters. Just when like in the house when he's like confirming the kill, dude. That was more bullets than John Wick.
Yeah,
It's like 9 shots.
It sounds from the press release. It sounds like Chris is like the thing that starts all this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that cutscene is the beginning of the game. Like I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The prologue.
Ethan's why when he screams that is very good.
Yeah.
Like it's like sad and enraged and confused and yeah.
Totally.
Love a good
I
why.
Some of my favorite type of horror is cultist witchcraft stuff, and it looks amazing. I mean, I'm immediately more interested and fascinated with that coven of witches more than the Baker family. The Baker family is awesome, and it was so new and jarring for the franchise. But I think honing in on witchcraft is such an awesome direction to take Resident Evil.
Resident Evil Bloodborne. Looks dope.
Yeah, is
Will they
that
resurrect
Ethan?
Wesker?
Seriously, like resurrections, the werewolves. Like, what if you can turn into a werewolf in this game? Mm-hmm. Just mind blowing. And I said it earlier in the reactions too, where it's such a natural evolution for bioweapons in this series is being able to flip a switch, turn it on, turn it off. Because so many times it's all or nothing with this stuff. It's like, turn me into a freak monster.
it's like the Hulk. You just lose
Yeah.
control.
So
You don't- The introduction of witches though, like you don't think it's gonna go like weird to describe Resident Evil as not being supernatural, but like you don't think it's gonna go supernatural, dude. Like they're not gonna actually have magic. It's still gonna be based on Las Plagas or a virus or something, yeah.
blood rituals and
Yeah,
stuff.
like yeah.
Because she's like sucking his blood at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
wonder-
curious how they position it.
Well,
And then there's that-
you see that giant tower. It's not the end of the game. It's the lab under the tower. You get to that
yeah.
tower
Yeah,
finally,
you
and then
know,
you
you're-
fall off,
and then
and
you
you
go
get
to
to the
an island.
elevator, and then you go
Go
get
to an
right.
100%. Yeah.
That's just
the
the end of
military.
disc 1 right there.
Yeah, there's the Ada chapter after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The giant lake.
Yeah.
And glad to see him take one more shot at a minimum with first person. We just had the amazing Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, which were classic third person style, but cool that they're doing first person again. Very excited about that.
Am I getting my games mixed up? Because did they say in this one that it's more open?
Yes.
more open
You're
area?
not getting it mixed up, but you're correct in that they said this one's going to be more about exploration, they said.
So like,
Which,
and calling it Village, like to me, it's like, what if this game legit is just like, here you go, like this is the village, figure
Yeah.
it out. Like, how crazy would that be?
Very
I
minimal
mean,
direction.
it'd be I wonder if they are taking a page from, like Souls, in terms
Right.
of like, this how you, like, here's just setting you in that world and exploring it. Because I think if they're going to go more, if they are going to go supernatural, at least the appearance and illusion of
I
supernatural.
think it'll
and
start
putting
off
that,
seeming,
like like I love that. I love unraveling the mystery because this feels so much like I love this because everything about this screams 4 to me, like 4 vibes. Like what's less plot? Like no, sorry. What's like why are these villagers going crazy? Like what has them under control and stuff? And like who are these, like who's Salazar and Sadler? Why are they like dressed in these robes? Like they got magic and stuff. Like what's this? And then like at the end of the day, it is just it's just biotech. And I love that. I love seeing how far it goes and stuff. And then like you realize like everything, it was all charade. They were really controlling with all this stuff. So I can't wait to see like how these werewolves are like, no, it's really this, and these witches like, nah, we put something in your blood and stuff, and it makes you imagine us having these powers and stuff, but you're really hallucinating and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
what if Chris is under control, Damiani? What if
I mean,
he's
that's
being
what I'm
controlled
expecting.
by the witches?
I'm expecting he is under, like, there's something under the influence of them, and him doing that is like, maybe he can't stop it, so he's like, Ethan's the only one who can do this. I gotta get him here. And this is the only way under the watchful eye of this organization or the witches or whatever. Like, I had to make it believable. So I had to, like, do something horrible to him to keep my cover and to keep their trust and get him. I love this conspiracy stuff in Resident Evil. You live for this. I can't wait to read all the docs and stuff about crazy things going on in the village and stuff, like piecing it together. Like a mayor note. I can't wait to read, like, stuff like that. Saw the developer diary show the return of the Tetris style inventory from 4 as well. I was like, yes.
Let's go. Economy, probably.
Yeah. Sure. Is the shopkeeper gonna make an
Dude,
appearance?
I was gonna say, what if the merchant shows up?
Dude.
What are you buying?
That would
Bring
be
it
the
back.
best.
That would
goes-
be
I would
so
lose my
best.
mind.
Or you like get to meet his family, It's like,
That would be so
family.
cool.
he's passed it on to his daughter, who carries on.
Yeah,
He
it's like
carries a
his
family
wife or
photo
something.
around.
Honestly, we revisit Raccoon City so many times. Like, what if we're just revisiting the village from 4? Like, it could easily just
Or
be
it's
the
nearby.
same. Yeah.
These people have heard of it.
This-
It's the other side of the mountain.
And-
Castle looked like this. Looked more like a Gothic, like Romanian castle or something. Not like a European castle like in 4.
Yeah, because
But-
4 is Spain, right?
Yeah.
This
like-
is like Eastern. Yeah.
Remakes
I don't
get
think
me
they're the same.
so excited, but nothing gets me more excited than moving the story forward. So that's just awesome.
Well, Sony's just been prepping everybody for Resident Evil madness, man. They dropping the big reveals of RE2 and RE3.
Yeah.
Now RE Village. Damiani, your conspiracy theory, I need you to turn those eyes to Pragmata, who's the only game announced for 2022. The rest are to be determined.
Oh, right.
What Xbox retweeted this, I saw, and they sent out their own tweet saying that this is the first new IP from Capcom in 4 years, which I had not thought about when I was watching this video at first. But I guess that is a big deal. I just don't know really what's going on.
So weird. I didn't even
with
pick
this
up
being
that
a
was
game I'm
Capcom.
going to play.
It just said Capcom in the copyright at the very end.
Yeah, because it's like there was no branding. A lot of the, I mean, Square Enix got the branding at the beginning, but some of these just did not have that because this. Honestly, at first I thought this was I thought this might be a Dead Space continuation. I was getting that vibe. So I'm like, is this like EA actually? But this had this was insane. And it was also taking like a page and like throwing nods all over the place, like Death Stranding nods. I mean, obviously we said like Dead Space.
You had a
Vanquish was
holographic
thrown
cat.
out there. It was just like all these crazy things coming together, and then it still managed to be unique and it's like insanity. Like this. The part where you like look up the sky and it's like, oh, this is like a panel. It's like LED panel or something, and then a satellite comes crashing through. And what do you do? Like in this giant space I'm like, oh, he's gonna use some future tech. He makes these like weird green ropes or whatever that are like they're bendy but they're super durable, and like uses that to like just bounce it off. He just like springs off of it, and he
It seemed like
breaks
the
through.
girl did it. Like
Yeah. Oh,
hacked
sorry. The
into
girl did it.
system
Yeah.
and
This
did it. Yeah, or
this
something.
rope. We're assuming like AI
Robot
girl.
yeah.
Because once you go crashing through the panel in the ceiling, you instantly apparently warp to the surface of the moon, and you're
I
looking
think the
at
whole
Earth.
thing's on the moon. You're in a dome city on the moon.
Is that confirmed, or are you just guessing?
That's what it kind of looks like. It
That's
looks like you
just what it looked
smashed
like to
through.
me, because they were
Gotcha,
looking
gotcha.
up and
Yeah.
it didn't look like the moon. It looked like Earth
Yeah,
in the sky.
that
So I
makes
think
sense.
it's a dome city on the moon. And one of
guess,
the
like,
streets was called like Lunestra, when Luna means moon.
Nice
so.
catch.
Sure.
it's just like, what's the gameplay gonna be? Are you gonna have this girl companion with you
knows?
the whole time? Is it gonna be like exploring these crazy environments where like oddities happen and you just get like you can see where the Death Stranding comparisons come through. It's like you look like you're moving in normal terrain and all of a sudden like the BBs come in. It's like, wait, what is this crap? You know, this is all like scary and intense, and this is the same vibe I get from this.
We just have to wait a while before we get the game. And we might have to wait a long time for the rest of these, but these are to be determined. And I ranked these in terms of what I thought with the significance, putting Sackboy: A Big Adventure at the bottom. Good for
Extreme
Sackboy.
High.
It's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
co-op.
3D platformer.
Yeah.
I'm way more into this than any Little Big Planet. Hate to say that, but
I'm
this
with you,
looks way more
Damiani.
appealing.
I agree.
I'll
Little Big
actually
Planet.
try this out. I will.
I
Play
love
this.
3D platformers. Yeah, like I'm so in.
4-player co-op. You saw that? Super Mario 3D
Yeah.
World vibes. You know?
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's such a good fit for Sony to try to get that Mario vibe, you know? Give it to Sackboy.
And Nintendo's not announcing new Mario games, so Sony's just doing it for them.
I
But
would
I
assume
think
that
it's-
might be next year. It's just weird they didn't say it. It's weird that
Right.
we don't
Yeah.
have a date on it.
I think it's very interesting because it's, they didn't say it's a Little Big Planet. It's, they're basically spinning it off and say like, look, let's take this character, let's make, a completely like defined game with them, and not worry about having to be tied to all of the creation and stuff, because Media Molecule's doing that over in Dreams. So let's just make it, like a good couch co-op game, for your kids or whatever, and have that mascot like continue to do something.
Why do I know the name Sumo Digital?
Just
What else did they?
What was the? They do
They've
a
done
lot
quite a
of
few
games.
things.
Yeah. What was
Who am I
their
thinking
most-
of that did Sonic Racing? That was
D-
at Sumo.
No, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform is Sumo.
That was Sumo?
It is.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Oh,
what
and they
I think.
did
That's what the
Snake
gag at the
Dance.
beginning was with the tiger. Like people thought another kart racer or something was. I think people. I saw a
Mod
bunch
Nation
of
Racers.
reactions.
Yeah, so they did Team Sonic
Oh.
Racing, Crackdown 3, Little Big Planet 3. They've
Hitman
helped
2.
on Hitman 2 and Forza
Little Disney Infinity
somehow.
in
Probably additional help.
I think
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
probably just additional help on those games. But like old Outrun games and stuff like the back like the three the OG Xbox PS2 era, they did that. Yeah, they're just done a lot of stuff with Sega basically, and they've done some assistance with other studios, but they're mostly tied to Sega. So this is interesting that Sony. I think this is their biggest high-profile Sony project, I would guess. Well, no, they did little. It says here they did Little Big Planet 3 assistance.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they liked to work with that and ran with it. So I mean, maybe that
Fills such a nice hole in Sony's
Yeah.
lineup, I feel like. Just a 3D platformer with a mascot.
Well, Sackboy a little upset that Astrobot's stealing his thunder a little bit. Sackboy
They've
coming
helped with
back.
some Disney Infinity stuff at some point.
I said that already. Why do I have?
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Anytime you say Disney
I
Infinity,
processed
just goes
the
in one
emotions.
ear,
We
out
do you
the
not
other.
know?
But
You
then-
don't know about this, Jones? We all have these chips in
Worked
our
on the
head.
racing for this one.
We don't. We just don't hear Disney Infinity anymore. Like I didn't. I think I said it. I hope you heard it. But that word has been wiped from Easy Allies, except for you. You're the only one who
yeah.
can hear that one. Yeah.
Damiani, whenever I think of something and it somehow relates to Disney Infinity, my brain's like, Disney Infinity? I'm like, shut up, brain. You're not helping right now, brain. When you said Super Digital, my brain's like, I'm pretty sure Disney Infinity. It's like,
We just got Disney Infinity
applicable.
out at Easy Allies. That's just what happened.
Ian, you talked about Goodbye Volcano High.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah.
No release date though.
Who
Looked like it's
knows?
coming along well, and the original music from it and fun
Bunch of
vibe.
dinosaur people.
The people who made
Very,
Nog.
like, cartoon animation.
Oh, it's by the
Yeah.
people who made Nog. Okay,
Yeah,
that
co-op.
makes sense.
And co-op's producing a bunch of games. They announced some stuff also in the Wholesome Direct that just happened. So co-op's a name that I have seen come up a lot. Destruction All Stars seems like an underdog a little
Yes.
bit. Like a what's the
Oh
the
my gosh, this game.
what's the
Yeah.
what's the word? A white horse? What am I thinking of?
Dark
Something-
Horse.
Dark
Dark
Horse?
horse. Dark horse.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Not
This
a white
looks
horse.
so awesome. I am so intrigued.
Seems
It's gonna
harmless. Just
yeah,
kind of
it's-
fun and
It's going to come down to how it feels playing
Yeah.
with each other and
Yeah.
if it's pick up and play or
Well,
You
kind of
know,
reminded me of Roller Champions last year,
Yes,
right?
Blood.
The
Yes,
arenas.
that's yes.
Yeah.
And then definitely has a little bit of some Rocket League flair. With it seems like you can do a lot with your cars, but then you can also do stuff with like people running around the arena too.
So cool.
Well, it looks like when your
Yeah.
car blows up, you shoot out of it, and then you're running around.
Oh, I wonder if you can hijack somebody else's
Yeah.
car, toss
No.
it out.
Wonder.
No, I want to
What?
be on top of your car, Bloodworth, and then
Yeah.
you drive me into someone, and then I jump on that.
They showed
Like,
someone on top of a car, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
Like having those types of co-op encounters.
Lots of
So cool.
great destruction, which we don't see
Yeah.
enough of.
Even just you were talking about filling holes, Hubert, like just that Trials vibe from a Ubisoft press conference. I think this just kind of came in, and the mood I thought fit the silliness that they were trying to sell.
I wonder if it'll be free to play, like Fortnite style, Battle Pass. Like it seems like such a good game to just have a foundation and
Also,
you do seasons.
yeah, good game to have a demo of, maybe good game to have a release
Yeah.
date of, but no release date. Little Devil Inside, which we kept coming back to, and had a very specific art style, and I am definitely seeing lots of people being curious about, but not at Neo Streams, the developer, not a name that I recognize, and specifically how that game plays. I'm curious. We can certainly tell how Returnal plays because she's just shooting a gun like nonstop. Housemarque, the creators of Resogun. Good for them. I think
Yes.
this is the biggest glow up of anything that was announced today, as far as a dev coming back and just like no, this was the game that we were focused on. You can definitely see the strengths of Housemarque, but
Really rooting for them. Next
Well, it
Machina,
seems like
criminally underappreciated game.
It just feels like a better direction than whatever that battle royale game that they've been working on.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
no memory of that.
No,
Yeah,
I
let me
remember
find the name of it. You
Next
might
this
be
be on the
Machina
test.
and
Well, you don't
Matterfall.
remember it either.
But yeah, because they got frustrated because people weren't buying
Yeah.
the types of games that they make.
Storm Divers?
Helldivers?
Helldivers?
Or Held
I don't think
Storm.
Them?
I think it is Storm Divers. Yeah.
Storm Divers.
Never heard
Yeah.
of this.
That does ring a bell.
And yeah, it's basically a
I got
battle
to
royale.
buy
It's
it.
like the most literal battle royale you could think of.
Yeah, that got canceled or put on hold. Yeah.
Did
Got
it? Did it?
Yeah, this headline from
Oh yeah,
January
indefinite
says-
hiatus. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
from Polygon, yeah.
So this, I think, is just a much better direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, much more interesting premise. Got the Edge of Tomorrow vibes right there with the live die repeat thing going on there. Love and then like the crazy enemies and like monsters and stuff felt a little bit like Annihilation. I was like, yeah, they're pulling from some good places here, and yeah, it was just so weird because I thought it was gonna be something so different when it says it's gonna be live die repeat. I'm like, oh, it's sci-fi. It's probably surviving on a planet. Then these like crazy creatures come in. And it's just like, oh, okay, now you doubly have my attention here. This is ambitious. I feel like, especially coming off of what they were known for. This is definitely, as you said, Bo, it's a much better direction for them.
Seems like no one likes the title.
Yeah. It's
Sure.
It's a
Eternal.
little weird.
Yeah. Like, I
You
get
gotta
what they're doing, but
You got to stand out somehow.
yeah.
Some of these things I had to add the PS5 to the Google search when I looked for it. That I did not.
Check out Next Machina if you're watching and have not played it. It's just so awesome. It's a really cool game. And I'm hoping that translates, right? The Resogun, Next Machina, Bullet Hell vibes.
Yeah, I'm wondering how heavy into that
yeah.
it'll go.
Yeah,
But
some
it
of the
looks really
fighting.
cool.
Yeah, one of the fights, like those purple bullets or whatever, that was that was Bullet Hell. It's like, yeah.
Kena Bridge of Spirits reminds me of Cameo. It just it has to fill that like high fantasy launch vibe on a game. What a lot of people are hoping like Fable comes back to Xbox. But I was just surprised. Kind of with like the complete package that we got from this game. Like this was Ember Lab is not a dev that I'm familiar with. Not familiar with this IP at all. Not familiar with the story or the world. Got introduced to all of that. Got to see gameplay from this. And I thought all of it just kind of fit, but I still had more questions. I just thought it was just, I don't know. I thought it was a very nice.
Yeah, Yeah.
A nice debut. Well done.
Yeah, the little soot creatures, bang up job. Like,
I love
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
My
they're just
gosh.
instantly endearing.
Yep.
Which Ghibli movie has that? Is it Howl's Moving Castle that has
And Hal
Yeah.
has them. Spirited Away has them.
little
Sorry.
creatures?
Spirited
Definitely some
Away
framiness
is
from
probably
this.
the one they're probably
one I'm
most known for. I think so. It was like the first one that had them, but yeah, the game. I mean, I thought this looked amazing, and
Yeah,
it kept getting
dude.
better. The more I saw of it, the better it got. Because like the first shot with the two little like gnome boys running around, it's like, okay, is this CG or not? Then they show like the kind of like the shrine thing, and I'm like, this looks pretty good. And it just kept getting better. Like it culminated with like the town, like a full blown
Yes.
town with people living in it and stuff. I was just like, I was like, the Pikmin like soot creature stuff was great. Like the platforming and like the spell based magic, like transferring your wand into like a bow or spear looked kind of cool. But then like having like towns and stuff, I was just like, all right. And then like they had parries and like competent combo. I was like, this is way more than I was expecting out of this. It looks good. I thought the lead character looked fantastic. Everything about this game just spoke to me. I was like, yep, getting this ASAP. Like,
ASAP.
must play this. And I mean, we mentioned it earlier. They did say it's cross-gen, but this is something like if it doesn't look like this on any other of the older platforms, I'm definitely getting this on like PS5 because I want it to look like what I saw. Like this might be a game where I need to play it on next gen.
Yeah, well, they say that they're taking advantage of the controller or the haptic feedback and stuff. But yeah, they said cross-gen for this, huh? Because I'm not seeing it in the press release.
Someone was talking about that. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Someone was saying it was coming out on other old like existing platforms. I was like, huh, okay.
Oh, wait, here it is. Exclusively to PS5, PS4, and Epic Games Store.
So there's a PS4. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well it's gonna run on a base PS4. So yeah, definitely gonna play it on a PS5 probably.
Damiani, safe to assume Project Athea is a long ways off.
This is I don't. Yeah, this you watch this trailer and I think almost unanimously the consent was we're not seeing this for several years. I think a few of us.
Dope, though.
I mean, it looks amazing. Unfortunately, in the post-show, chat was getting annoyed with me trying to do a deep dive comparison of it, which I was laughing.
I
because, like,
really appreciated that.
Just, like,
I really
loved it.
liked that.
This is funny. I'm just gonna point this out. Like,
Great context.
Max Milling was doing the same thing, and people are like lapping it up, and like they'll get like hundreds of thousands of views, and it's like I'm doing it. It's like you're derailing our discussion. I'm like,
Not
okay.
appreciated in
I was
his
like-
time, Michael.
I was like, fine. It's probably because he's by himself, and we're multiple people, so I get it.
It's
But
too deep.
the
It's too Damiani, it's too deep.
It's the podcast time, so just real quick, I won't take up too much of your time, but it does look like what they worked on with Agni's Philosophy, that tech demo back in 2012 and 2013 that showed off like the girl used like the Coke bottle to like heal her wound. She used magic like with her hand, but it hurt her and stuff. And
Right.
it looked like there was like people with guns, looked like real world,
Yeah, the shoes even in this.
some military struggle, power struggle, but also magic was involved. And then she flies off on some like Panzer Dragoon looking thing, and then they brought it back a few years later as an evolved demo. And while this one is definitely more fantasy looking, I think there isn't not so many hints of like normal looking world in it. There are some parallels there. She kind of looks like Agni a little bit, just with her hair up, and those the like black dog enemy looks similar to an enemy that was in Agni's Philosophy, this like dog creature they injected with this stuff. So I wonder, this is Luminous Productions. The studio was Hajime Tabata's studio, who departed. The person who took over Final Fantasy 15, finished that project, was then given his own AAA budget project, departed from that, and now this is that game. And I think people are maybe mistaking this for potentially Final Fantasy 16 because there are rumors about that, but it's not Final Fantasy 16. This is its own project. And as you said, Ian, I think it looked cool. Like the traversal stuff looked awesome, like way more action heavy. Like Huber, wood style jutsu stuff, like sealing the dog and stuff.
Sick.
But the movement with her arm and hand, and she had like these like kind of like jewelry or these maybe they're like marks around her arm or something, looked like Agni as well from that demo. So this is great to see if this is an evolution of that project finally coming to be a real game. And then like that dragon thing at the end, just like show scale, like there will be huge bosses potentially and stuff like that. really cool high concept stuff. Just think it's looked very early, and it looks like it's not.
Yeah, I got
for a long
bad
time.
news, Damiani. It's not a game. It's project. It's just a project. It's still it's still in the same place
It's
it was
still-
at Agnes Philosophy, man. It's just
And
here's what they're
Square Enix
here's where they are
project
now.
names,
Just checking in.
It's not a good sign when they're in the project phase. That means you got
Yeah.
several years
That's like a
before.
bunch of years.
when a
Everyone at
game
Luminous
comes
is gonna
to
have
Square
they're gonna have a really good time playing this during the life of the PlayStation 5. You're never playing this game. It's a project.
I'm just surprised this game didn't get canceled outright when Tabata left. I'm kind of surprised about this. I think this will be the last Luminous engine game, though, ever made. But I think there's still a chance this might never see the light of day, actually.
Yeah.
Once
Hard to say.
Once we get over this weird aperitif of GTA 5 coming in 2021, and then we get Spider-Man coming in hot and heavy, Ratchet shows up, and it just seems like all's right with the world, doesn't it, Huber? You're just like,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I think that was such an interesting, especially from Insomniac, to just the 1-2 punch, the studio to show like we, not only just kicked so much ass in the PS4 days, but we got a lot of big plans for PS5. And Ian, you pointed out some things I definitely saw from watching that again, were like a couple of just weird shifts, in the demo that they saw. But again, it's the roughness that like seeing stuff now for the first time, I'm not that critical of, just because of how much was packed in.
Right.
And just how generally exciting I thought that was, and I don't know if that female Lombax is a character name, but man,
She looks awesome.
I almost made the bet about her. I'll tell you that.
Her robo arm.
That was if
Like,
Kyle
I
was
won-
still around, I'd be like, that would be the bet right there. It'd be something.
I wonder if her robo arm has any kind of synergy with Clank.
Hmm?
There's just a lot of robot tech in Ratchet and Clank. But this just absolutely blew me away. I mean, Ratchet and Clank to me is in the exact same pantheon as God of War, as Uncharted. Like, Ratchet and Clank is PlayStation. And there's really no better way to kick off a new console than with one of PlayStation's main franchises. And this looked like the best Ratchet and Clank of all time.
Well, they had to make some big changes to God of War to bring him back. The last time that we saw him, where it's like Ratchet just shows up, and yes, there's like a whole new cross-dimensional thing, but I don't know, there's just something. It felt like a security blanket for me. There's just like kind of something warm and fuzzy about like, no,
Totally.
Ratchet's gonna be here. It's gonna be on PlayStation 5.
And I was critical of the reboot because I felt like it was a step back from A Crack in Time, and just from everything I've seen with this one, it looks like potentially we're getting back to the main timeline. Maybe the repercussions of A Crack in Time, just all this dimension hopping and this
Yeah.
new Lombax character. So just freaking blown away, dude. Like,
It
going through
was-
all those dimensions. Like, I know there was some pop in, but my
it was a
goodness.
SSD showpiece.
dude.
Yeah. It was really the
That was
most
PlayStation being their
next-gen
chest, their SSD.
showcase for sure.
It's definitely the most appealing the entries that I can think of, because I did play the reboot, Huber, and I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it, but this just looks so much more appealing with that, like the jumping through these like portal mechanics. Some of them just
Totally.
warping around the level. You know what it reminded me of, Huber? And I saw some other people calling out too. The Titanfall 2 part where you get like the ability to jump between time periods. I was like, yes, I love games that do stuff like this. And they're like, this is gonna be the whole game. We didn't quite see anything in real time, like actual real-time gameplay that was like the opening trailer where he's jumping between completely different worlds in like very quickly like that. I'm hoping that's maybe like down the line that's something more advanced. And that wasn't just like to illustrate the concept type shot, because that would be really cool. Plus, with that where the heck are we? This is weird line or whatever, Huber. Everyone calling it out. Is that a reference to another series of theirs? Potentially a crossover might happen at some point.
That seems really far-fetched, even
Jack
for
and
my
Daxter?
wild brain.
Something a Jack and Daxter cameo is in line with that.
I mean, it's happened before in this universe. Jack and Daxter, there have been little Easter eggs. So if they did a full-on Jack and Daxter team-up or cameo, I mean, that would just blow up PlayStation fans. Like, it would be it. That'd be it. It's done. Like, I can't even. Don't even get me thinking about that, Damiani. I cannot handle that. And like Insomniac and Naughty Dog, that would just be cool to have some kind of cross studio love. Because again, those franchises are just so PlayStation. So
I think feeling in my bones that neither Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima would have any part of this presentation was the only bit I got right. I think it was like the only thing. And I feel confident.
This is totally real-time stuff when he's jumping
No,
through the dimensions.
I get let me rephrase it. Like I don't know
blood
if
sniffing.
that's something you actually would be doing in game. Like that's reflective of the final game, what you're actually going to be doing. Versus
that's what they say about
that's
it.
something they captured in engine just to illustrate like to jump in, because once they showed like the raw gameplay part, when you jump through either the yellow or the purple portals, it didn't do something as drastic as that. There wasn't a
But I mean,
sequence
you're
where
controlling this whole time.
It seems to me that the thing they showed in the trailer was an on rails, like riding a vehicle segment for that part, and then so because that's the case, you're jumping through all these dimensions because it's on rails for that part. But the main gameplay, it looks like a common thing is the yellow rift pulls you to that section of that area. You're not jumping dimensions, but just space. Right there, and then like purples, maybe you just skip to a new level.
Good point.
Great
Like,
call.
I guess I'm curious about how they're going to handle that. Like from a gameplay perspective, is it going to be on rails? Is it like are these scripted sequences that are triggered by like a context-sensitive part of the game or something like that? It didn't seem like it was the average moment-to-moment gameplay. Like there will be an ability you get that you can use at any time to jump between worlds instantly. I was like, don't know if that's really what's going to happen.
they do have those grind rail parts. You know, that's such a big theme of Ratchet and Clank, where it is that linear literal on rails sections.
But did we talk
and
about
I just
how,
loved the quest for booty nod was so cool. They go to the island. It's
the
like,
nods, yeah.
Dude, are we gonna be? And we see just a hologram of Nefarious, and Clank, ominously says it's too late. It's like Nefarious is up to planning something, trying to take over the universe. It almost looks like it's going to be a greatest hits sequel,
Yes.
Maybe revisiting old areas and old moments from Ratchet and Clank.
Good point. You also pointed out, I forget if it was you, Huber, someone was pointing out that like all the NPCs running around when they showed like the raw gameplay part, just like that was something that made me think it's not the visual fidelity so much as so many things are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that is only possible with like next gen. It's I like seeing these things.
You
it makes you
remember
feel like the world is more alive.
Yeah, the reboot just like smashing the boxes and all the bolts. Like that was so crazy when they first showed that.
There's so many characters running around. There's so much like particle effects and things breaking, and things seem to like stay on the ground quite a bit. They start, coming out eventually, but yeah, it's pretty nuts. And then they are doing the mid-dimension thing in the middle, however the heck that's supposed to work.
Too cool. And a awesome looking new Lombax with a robo arm. Too freaking cool.
What about Gran Turismo 7, Blood? You convinced? Talk about feeling right at home in a PlayStation thing. It's like now we got Ratchet's coming back, and I got a Gran Turismo to wait 5 years for. We did it. It feels right.
Yeah, it's definitely Gran Turismo. What's funny is that like it felt like the driving was a little bit more actiony in a way in parts of that trailer. But I think that may just be a trailer thing. But it's cool that they had like a full, like you're just gonna play the game for a while. And it's not gonna look like anything particularly different because it's just a driving sim, but it did show off those interiors, which Gran Turismo was behind on for a while. It did show off good lighting effects, which again, like some of the past games, like shadows would look really crunchy. And I still see that from certain angles the backgrounds don't look ultra impressive. I can still kind of like get this sense that like it's not up to the detail of some of these other games in the backgrounds, but it's one of the things that when you're actually playing the racing game and not just doing a replay, like it's not going to matter, right? But yeah, I think it's impressive. I think I'd be curious to see where they actually put some of this stuff to work. Like what are they actually going to do that's going to make it feel different in terms of the controller and the audio design and all that kind of thing.
Ian, I thought you said something so funny but so true, where it's like, well, it always looks crazy, so I'm not really impressed, because every time I see a new Gran Turismo, dating back to PlayStation 2, it's always like, whoa!
Yeah. Cars!
Yeah.
They look real!
And it's just like expected, you know?
It's just
Which
so
is-
buddy with the whole concept of showing off how powerful each of these systems is every time we get
Yeah.
a new PlayStation. It's like, well, how does Turismo look? I mean, that would be.
But that was
what's
the
where
thing,
are we at on
though.
the Turismo meter?
PS4, we didn't get that. We got Drive Club.
That's what I'm saying. It feels good.
Yeah.
That put me at ease. Ian, I saved the best for second to last.
Oh my god.
Demon Souls. Anything to say? Anything to add? We've talked
my
about it a
God.
lot. We've slacked about it a lot.
Wow.
It looks so good, dude. Like,
Did we know this
so
was gonna
good.
happen? Were you like, this
Heavily
is gonna
rumored.
happen?
It had been long rumored, but
Yeah.
then before, like days before this event, there was a weird rumor about Blue Point is doing Bloodborne for PC. So then
Right.
we were all like, okay, well, I guess we're not getting Demon Souls then. That must have been a rumor. So, yeah, and then this
Oh
just
boy, are we getting Demon Souls?
floored me. Yeah, and if it is like a reimagining, if they're tightening it up and making it a little more modern feeling, like not that Demon Souls feels even that old really, but like, oh man, I'm so excited.
Part of that stuff looks really old when you compare it, and I actually was really, really impressed. Not that I didn't know the jump was that substantial, but a lot of the Spyro remaster stuff when they showed look at the way the boss originally looked, and look at him now, and you'd see objects completely defined that were barely even there, like some axe he was holding or something. It's like, oh, it's not just making it look better. The developers really have to decide what does that look like, and there were a couple bosses I've already seen people tweeting comparisons, and it's just like, that's hardly even the same thing that I'm looking at. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be smart for them to show both versions next to each other, so you can see.
Well, even
holy
those
cow.
intro shots, just like the environments looked so much more detailed. Like the famous dragon carrying that upside down undead, just looks so much different from my memory. I haven't gone back and compared it yet, but
And you
Yeah, I was blown away by the trailer, and then I saw the screenshots, and I was just like, what?
yeah. if it's got quicker controls, good frame rate, and solid online, this
GG.
thing is going to be just the greatest thing
But
that
there's-
ever happened.
there's gonna be no way to make everybody happy though, because I imagine there's some people who are like, I want it to be super fast like Bloodborne, I want it to be just like Demon Souls. It's kind of like Smash audiences, right, Damiani, where it's like just the Melee fans are just never gonna be happy with anything but Melee.
I imagine there might be some of that. I also think there might be some of the debate might be over if this is like a very faithful 1-to-1 is possible, and people maybe wanted them to take a few more liberties or something. I could see that maybe being a point of contention, because this game is from so long ago, and the series, as you said, has evolved. It's like, why did they stick so close to the original? Why did they try and do this or that or something like that? That's always the age-old, that's the $64,000 question. It's like, what do you do with this? Do you stick close to the original, or do you dare to change things? And no matter what you do, someone's always going to be vocal about and complain about ask why did you do this?
It's genius you say that, Damiani, because seriously, the biggest improvement from Dark Souls, from Demon Souls, was open world. Like, Demon Souls levels is kind of weird. Like, it's cool. Like, you go through stages, basically levels.
You have a hub
like,
environment,
nothing
right?
compares
Yeah,
to
there's the Nexus. It's a hub.
Yeah. So nothing compares to the open world of Soulsborne. So if they
Well, but
are they going to be faithful and keep the level structure?
Well, I mean, I think they absolutely will,
Yeah.
because that's so much. That's much of the deal with this game. But I mean, OG game, there's a whole arch that just doesn't open. Brad, I think, was talking about, there's cut content from Demon Souls that they could maybe put in. I mean, we've already seen such stark visual differences that go beyond. I mean, just necessarily because the graphics are so much better. I saw one of the bosses is just the old boss is just a gray blob with eyes, and then the new one they had to, make it an actual thing with parts on it. because
Yeah.
it's just like the fidelity is so much higher. And like, I think the shot behind me right now, like the other shot from the trailer, I think this is from the old game because I think the trailer has like blue tapestries and different, like the buildings look different. And I think the dragon from the end of the trailer's in a different location, like roaring in a different place. I mean, obviously they don't have all the same shots from the old trailer, but like, and I don't think that they'll make it like Bloodborne because Bloodborne controls so differently, but like, I think maybe if they made it a little more like Dark Souls 3, like it wouldn't feel out of place, but it would still feel just tighter, while still feeling like Dark Souls. Because like, Demon Souls is a much more direct predecessor to Dark Souls than it is to Bloodborne, you know. But yeah, man. Ugh.
Yeah, dude.
Ain't nothing
And
bad about this.
just
Good.
how comforting it is knowing that the Shadow of the Colossus remake was freaking amazing. So we're in good hands.
Yeah.
I love just
that
the
did
foliage. I
add
love
extra
Brad just like,
content.
just look at the grass. Look at the grass by his feet. You know, that was all the thing that's like Shadow of the Colossus. I'm like, I didn't even know there was grass here. Were they trying to do grass? Did like they just take the grass tool, just paint over. Huber, is it okay if I'm still excited about Horizon Forbidden West, but I thought that trailer was kind of just fine?
Really?
I'm,
Ooh.
I thought it was
I'm
okay. I
kinda-
just thought that was alright.
you know,
Didn't really get a sense of like I see where we're going, but didn't really get a sense of like there's just evil leaves that she's taken out, and like the monsters look really cool. But there wasn't. It was just like, okay, yeah, here we go. There was no big like shocking, oh my goodness moment.
it
from
was
this. It makes sense that it concluded.
exactly what my brain imagined it was going to be. And I think that's why I was semi-underwhelmed, because it was everything that I thought it would be, which is good. But it still left me with just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it looks
I mean,
awesome.
it was definitely very like, here's a video game. Like, if I don't stop this, it's gonna get worse. It's like, put that in any video game trailer.
Yeah, I don't know in terms of getting you invested in story so much, but I really did feel that, you know, the environments and the landscapes and the variety and everything.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that underwater city
Yeah.
and
San Francisco.
the Golden Gate Bridge and the desert and all of this stuff.
Alcatraz there too at one point.
Just-
I think.
Yeah, there's
really?
just so many cool things and a lot of the new creatures and stuff that they were showing off.
Yeah.
That, I really, you know, it's like, you know, regardless of whether the story is great or not, like it just feels like it's a cool world to just get out there. It just feels gigantic.
I think more so than any other game shown, though, is the internet doesn't do it justice. Like, this is the showpiece.
Mhm.
And I think I am being a little hard on it. And I think I need to see, I need to feel the size and the scope of this. Because that's what the trailer was trying to convey. I think you're absolutely right, Bloodworth, is just how big these environments were. And how different. But
Yeah.
I you know,
Crocodiles.
1080p
Yeah.
internet, just, you know,
Well, I
720p
mean, yeah, keep in
internet.
mind
didn't-
it was only 1080p, but like 30 frames. This wasn't even broadcast at 60 frames on their
Yeah.
end. So
Yeah.
Uh.
So, definitely need to see that one in action.
Does the first game take place in a? Where's the first one take place? Is it a real world location like this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's like spoilery. But yeah, because there is a point in the game where you're like, oh, I'm here. You know, there are moments where you kind of line up like what the what things look like now versus what they look like. And this is definitely one of my like top 5 games from all of these. But that's a podcast worth of games right there.
Yeah, that's a lot.
My goodness.
What if you have to drink blood in Resident Evil 8 to, like, quench your werewolf transformations or something?
I guarantee it.
How many silver bullets are there in the game, Huber?
Whoa.
Dude, are there vampires too? Can I stab someone with a wooden stake?
That witch seemed a little vampy.
Yeah.
There were also so many other games that were announced this week, so many news things. I'm going to run through them very quickly before we get to also this week, because I did want to focus on each of these things and just throw them out, see if anybody screams or gets super excited. IGN has been doing their Summer of Gaming. They will continue this tomorrow, but they've done 2 days worth of it. And this is the stuff that I thought was relevant. Metal Hellslinger was announced. It's coming out in 2021 from The Outsiders. That is a Guitar Hero Metallica something. I'm not actually Metallica, but just hardcore metal music rhythm.
Most metal game ever, something like that.
Very cool
Played.
concept. Very cool. Looked fun. Looked unique. Looked fun.
Alex Kidd and Miracle World DX announced 2021 Q1, hopefully, from Jank Team and Merge Games, doing remakes the way they should be done, where you can play both. So you click a button and it'll go back to the original Alex Kidd.
Okay.
Oh yeah, retro mode.
Wonder Boy kind of did that too, yeah.
Yep. Keep
Give me Wonder Boy vibes.
keep them coming. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix announced. Got to group stream that. We're getting that this year in October. Yeah, lock it in.
Finally decide who's better, Aang or Korra, because they're both in it. You can both race.
Are they
them.
both in it?
Is
No,
Shredder
I
in
gotta
it?
say, I am disappointed that they're not riding on air balls. But you know what?
Sure.
It's fine. It's fine. If Sega made Sonic race around in a car instead of running around,
Yeah, you're right.
I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
It's
I
not
get it.
Nickelodeon
I
Air
get it.
Racers.
Is Shredder in it, Damiani?
The Ninja Turtles are, but I don't know
Sick.
if Shredder is.
Okay.
I saw Leo and Raph in it.
Cool.
Foreclosed got announced 2021 in Q2 from Antab Studio. It's a sci-fi game that I did not dive into too much. The 13 remake, my game that effed me from back in the Game Trailers days.
David
Redemption. I'm so
Duchovny.
excited. David Duchovny.
I
wrongfully
Is he back?
Wrongfully blamed. Yeah, I just think it's
I think it's just the same audio.
video, yeah.
It sounds so phoned in.
I can't wait to play
I'm
that
really
again.
pumped on this, but I am not. I like the look of the original more still. The original looked so awesome, cel shaded. I think the
Oh.
remake, yeah.
So a remake ruining the cel-shaded comic book look, or something I've. Yeah, this sounds familiar.
What are you talking about?
A certain HD remake, remaster. Sorry,
Oh,
ruining the original's look.
Okay, I got it.
You got it.
A GameCube
Huber,
game.
you're right. Like, it's
Kind
like
of Zelda stuff.
Yeah.
the
Just
because
let
this
it
thing,
pass, let it
this thing
pass.
got its notoriety for like being a comic book look in like what
Yeah.
early 2000s whenever this came out. That was like a cool, not just a novelty, but like very rare. I think
Yeah.
it just doesn't stand out as much anymore. And the fact that you're saying it like moves away from that aesthetic a little bit, I think
It
it
still
hurts
ha-
its cause a little bit.
Yeah, it still has it, but it was like not as pronounced.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I still kind of favor the original there.
Stronghold Warlords got a release date, September 29th.
Yeah, baby.
13 is November 10th.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for
baby.
Stronghold Warlords.
That's what I want to hear. Make it
I mean,
known.
I'm a big fan of Stronghold. 1 and Crusader. 2 and 3, not good. But Warlords, hopefully good. Damiani says it looks old.
It's like an old, like a early 2000s PC game. That's all.
Yeah.
Damiani,
That's
have you
what's
seen?
great about
But
it.
that's not a knock against it. It's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
By the way, I kept thinking this was Stranglehold. I was like, why is it no
Oh, I
RTS? Why are people saying
Stranglehold
RTS?
Warlords.
What's Stranglehold
Out of nowhere.
Warlords? What is that?
Whoa,
No.
exclusive to Switch. Whoa!
That would be very weird.
Damiani, did you see Demon Turf at all? You seen this like 3D
I-
platform or 2D
I
characters?
looked it up.
and-
It's like 2D sprites and 3D
Yeah.
platformer. I watched a bit of the interview thing. Like their powers are called turfs, and like there's 4 primary ones, like hookshot, some rolling demon, which makes you roll around like Sonic the Hedgehog, glide, and then a bubble that slows down anything within it. I mean, it's an interesting art style. I mean, it's 3D platforming. The interview I think sold it more than like the gameplay trailer because it was very brief and yeah, it looks okay. Yeah.
We got gameplay from Mortal Shell, which Ian, you were just touched on a little bit before, which is a
Looks cool,
Souls-like, but there's a beta coming in July, so you can just
Oh,
check
I
that
didn't
out.
know that.
Oh, that's really good.
A lot of those games, and that was IGN had that,
Ian,
and,
is
like-
this like Elden Ring?
lots of other good trailers and gameplay clips.
Yeah, you were saying people were saying it looks like Elden
All the
Ring. It's like,
comments
we
on the
haven't seen
YouTube
Elden
video
Ring.
was
What are you
that.
talking about?
This is as close as we're gonna get, certainly on.
Well, and in this you're like
June
switching
11th,
bodies all the
2020.
time, right? Like
Yeah,
looks
You're-
pretty
you're-
wild. I don't know.
you're mortaling those shells.
Souls likes I feel like they have an uphill battle for me to like hit that quality threshold where I give a shit.
And there will be more. There will be more Summer of Gaming this week, and we got a lot of stuff to react to this weekend. So we'll definitely be talking about more game announcements and more updates next episode of the Easy Allies podcast. But also this week, Destiny 2 announced a ton of stuff. Seasons of Arrivals has just started, where you can go check out the pyramids that they've been teasing for a super long time. A brand new dungeon's coming called Prophecy. The next big expansion's called Beyond Light. The next big expansion after that's called The Witch Queen. The next big expansion after that is called Lightfall. And there'll be no extra charge required for upgrading Destiny 2 to next-gen consoles. Not sure exactly what that means, but they said, they were like, you don't have to buy anything. And intergenerational crossplay coming. No actual crossplay, but you'll be able to, PS4 people will be able to play with PS5, and Xbox One X will be able to play with Series X. Australia's federal court ordered Sony to pay over $2 million over misleading refunds. There were like 5 people in Australia that were like, oi, to get my refunds.
I think you skipped over like one of the biggest parts of that Destiny news, though.
Yeah, the biggest thing
Is that they're gonna
Destiny 3.
basically.
it's
There's no plans for Destiny 3.
Destiny 2 forever. They're just gonna, and they're Disney
Platform.
vaulting old stuff,
Yeah.
and just keeping it rolling forever.
Basically managing the quality of the game rather than making it so bloated and broken, so
Yeah.
put stuff that people aren't really playing right now into the vault, make new
Of
stuff
glass.
once in a while, pull out something from the vault and
Of glass.
and polish it up and put it out there for people to try new stuff in.
Thank you.
I like Destiny.
Thank you.
Australia also did order Sony to pay over $2 million for misleading refunds. That's the thing that happened.
Really?
So let's not get too excited about Sony today, okay? Because they tried to screw over 5 Australians, from what I could tell. An unfinished but playable 2015 build of Dead Island 2 leaked. I think I played that. That never happened. I guess there's another game that's happening, but a lot of PR people were like, I remember that thing. Devotion, which was previously removed from Steam, is now selling physical copies only in Taiwan, though. So, and it actually says on the website, it's like, if you're not in Taiwan, don't buy this. So it's like, good for that game in Taiwan, but none of us can benefit. Summer Games Done Quick 2020 will be August 16th through the 23rd and online. Of course, one of the later events to announce that they're not going to be doing it the way they usually do it. Just getting this from Ben Moore in Slack. A new Metal Slug game is reportedly in development for consoles and mobile.
Hell yeah.
Of course, put that game on mobile. Go for it. That's not going to hurt anybody. On June 9th, Need for Speed Heat became the first EA game to offer crossplay. This week in crossplay news, No Man's Sky now has crossplay across PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and Chivalry 2 will have crossplay on next-gen consoles and PC.
Does No Man's Sky have cross save also?
I don't know.
Because I'd love to
That'd
get
be
it
a
on
good question.
PC and then just take my PS4 save over.
Correct that, why don't you?
Yeah, tell us.
Transformers Battlegrounds was announced, and sure, looks
Yeah.
all right.
That's a game that like you look at it and it's like, oh, is this a mobile game? Oh, it's not.
Oh boy! And I missed
There you
a
go.
War for Cybertron fault. Man.
That game is awesome.
Hyman
Rise of
Studios.
Cybertron, War for Cybertron.
Ooh.
I know.
Those.
Can Hyman Studios make a new game and not Call of Duty maps, please? Like,
Yeah.
let them make
Disappointment.
another game.
Next gen Transformers, baby.
Apparently not. Apparently Outright Games has it instead of Activision.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 and Andromeda are now available on Steam. They were previously very much not. And missed this from last week. Star Theory Games, the developers of Kerbal Space Program 2, were poached by Take-Two Interactive. So Kerbal Space Program 2 is happening but not happening. There's a lot of turmoil going on, and I apologize I did not address that. That was from Bloomberg. That was something the chat said Kyle probably would have picked up because Schreier might have been on top of that. He did not write the article, but apologies, we did not cover that. But there is a lot to cover because we haven't even gotten to Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
Skipped a note there, but otherwise
Yeah,
sounded
Rufus.
good. Jake McRae. I'm beginning to suspect that if Huber came into possession of a monkey's paw in 2020 is the price we have to pay for his video game dreams coming true. All jokes aside, what would you be willing to sacrifice for your video game dreams to come true? For example, I would be willing to give up eating at restaurants for the next year if it meant we got a new Knights of the Old Republic game in the near future. So this Huber doesn't apply to you because you don't have to, you just ask for things. And they happen. But the rest of us,
Sunset
is there
Riders.
something you would give up? Preferably something that would hurt or upset another ally.
I was gonna tweet last night Ratchet and Clank because I went to bed thinking about it, but I didn't. But then it came.
What if you had tweeted it and it hadn't?
Yeah,
Oh, I
That's
know.
like when you make a wish, you're not supposed to tell somebody.
Right.
Right.
You gotta
There
keep
you
it to
go.
yourself now.
But I put that one under
There
my
it is
pillow.
again.
Yeah.
Doesn't know the strength he has.
It's weird.
Crossing the dimensions right there. Huber just brought it in. Didn't exist until last night.
Yeah.
No.
Took it from the Berenstein Bears dimension.
How
and
else
made
did they make that and Spider-Man?
That's the real question.
That
How?
is confusing.
Cross dimensions.
The premise for this question is interesting because it's like, what would you give up? And it's like, well, make it easy on myself. Like, I want Bloodborne 2, and I'll continue to not drink beer.
All right, here though.
It's
Here,
not like
real question.
specified the the difficulty of the giving up thing.
Bloodborne 2, Demon Souls remake.
Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
Are you making this
probably,
kill your
yeah.
babies now, Huber?
Yeah, true. Just kill your babies.
I will give up Raising Cane's for a year for Vengeance 2.
Woo!
That's good.
This feels cheap right now though because like we're already having to give up most of this stuff for a year.
In a
Like,
normal year.
Right.
Let's say in a
That's
normal
the
year.
thing that's killing me right now. It's like,
Right.
what do I have that I couldn't
Right.
have?
There's nothing
If
to
I'm-
give up
I'm assuming,
anymore.
yeah, like under normal conditions.
If EA brings SSX back, I will cover all of their sports games. I'll play FIFA, I'll play Madden, I'll dive into all of it. Be like, all right, I'm EA Sports again. Let's go.
Those are stakes.
Don't let him forget that, viewers.
I will cover it well. I certainly will not review it. But a Madden Jones stream.
Don't let
certainly
him
be
forget
interesting.
that.
That'd be so funny.
German scientist has a bunch of. I probably had a wonderful post to go
German,
along with it.
right? Not germ scientist.
German scientist.
Germing.
German.
Yeah.
I assume had a wonderful post here. I just literally grabbed the quotes. These are all quotes from our various events that we have done in the past. You have to try and guess who said this, what game they were talking about, and of course, if you can guess what year that E3 was from. Because you remember that E3 thing? Remember we used to do that in June. That would be the time.
Yeah.
This would be the week that we would talk about that. So I guess it makes sense if there's a.
It's so funny. It doesn't
bit longer
exist, but it's still
podcast.
exhausting.
Yeah.
But get E3 in your mind.
To think that E3 could be right now.
And try to guess.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that would exhaust me. Disneyland's maybe reopening, and I'm like exhausted. Like there's no way.
Yeah. Not a chance, Disney.
All right, here we go. Quote number 1. I hope we go back to the mainland. I mean, this is cute, but
That sounds like Ben or something.
I hope we go back to the mainland. I mean, this is cute, but
That sounds like a Kyle.
That sounds like Kyle.
Oh yeah, I
and
forgot
cute.
about Kyle.
Back to the mainland.
some of these might be Kyle.
Pokemon?
That is me talking about Animal Crossing at E3 2019.
Oh.
Hope we go back to the mainland. Still haven't been there. Still haven't done only islands. I've only visited islands. I've gotten on a plane many times in that game, but it's always an island whenever we go. I want to be the guy playing an accordion.
Brad.
I love accordions. This could be
Sea of
me.
Thieves.
That is Brad. That is Sea of Thieves, E3 2017.
Beautiful.
Good, Hubert. Good. That's what Mind Jack wanted to be.
I
Damiani.
remember you said
Ben.
that or Ben.
I'm the only. I mean, it's either. I mean, Ben or me, because I.
You think you're the only ally who's seen Mind Jack?
Yeah.
When did you say it, Damiani?
What was that
The
game?
Cyberpunk?
It was.
What was that game?
I
Were
remember
you
the
mind
game.
jacking people? Oh, come on.
God,
Was
what
it-
was it called?
No, it was
Ba-da-ba.
not Cyberpunk. I
Ba-da-ba.
thought.
Ba-da-ba-da-da. Super Mario Odyssey from E3 2017.
Oh yeah,
I
the
was
hat
thinking
thing.
I was thinking of a different game.
That is really funny.
This is such a good pick. German scientists have been sitting on this one. Ugh, that noise makes me teary.
That's Ian.
Is that me?
That noise makes me teary. That was Ian watching a trailer for The Last Guardian in E3 2015. Dude, big boy.
Huber?
Dude,
Brad again.
big boy.
Me or Brad. Me or Brad.
That's Brad talking about Avengers
Yeah,
in E3
yeah.
2019. The biggest radio towers in Ubisoft history right here.
That was about Horizon Zero Dawn? No, that's not.
Big-
I'm gonna say me.
No.
That's you.
Yeah.
And it's Ubisoft.
Watch Uggs.
Steep. 2016. I don't know why you would have thought that.
The whole
I guess because the
mountain is a radio
verticality.
bit.
Yeah. I played that game. Not a lot of towers. That grappling hook. The possibilities of that grappling hook.
Sekiro.
Jones.
That's Ben.
Ben talking about his beloved Monster Hunter World from E3 2017. That grappling hook. Little springs on its neck. Dang, these designs are really cool.
That's boss,
That's
man.
Kyle.
That's boss.
I realized after a couple of these, it's like, oh damn, I really got to be boring because I don't want to. But the dang, talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, the original Horizon, E3 2015. Dang, these designs are really cool. You just got to watch them dance as you die. You just got to watch them dance. You just got to watch them dance as you die. You just got to watch them dance. I don't even know what he could be referencing.
What is this game?
That's Ben talking about Smash Brothers Ultimate from E3 2018. Don't even know what he could have possibly been referencing. It's weird because they're not always the same split. It's
Is
weird
that a quote?
because they're not always the same
Yeah, I
split.
was like,
That is a
that's
quote.
Bloodworth?
Seems
That's
like
Bloodworth. Oh, okay. That's a way out. E3 2017.
Oh,
guess
because
it's-
Oh,
the
the
split
split
screen.
screen.
I remember you
Yeah.
saying that.
Good one.
He appeared to be a normal human. Tension is lowering.
Sekiro.
Is this me?
It's a good one to have today. That is you, Ian. It's a good one to have today.
Sounds
Resident Evil
bitchy
7,
enough to
E3
be me.
2016.
Oh.
Oh.
Tension is lowering. Am I looking at real life or a video game?
I feel like
I'm,
all of us
I'm,
have said that.
I'm
at some point.
surprised we didn't get quoted for that one, Blood. They never reached out to us for this. Huber, you know that's you. Talking about a
What
game
am I
that does
talking
look
about?
super good. Flight Simulator.
Assassin's.
From E3 last year.
Oh.
That's a good trailer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, real life.
At least we got a dog with us. That helps me a lot.
Is that Days Gone?
At least we got a dog with us. That helps me a lot. It's not Days
Who do
Gone.
we have a dog with?
You have a dog in Blair Witch Project, which Bossman noticed.
Oh yeah.
Watching that trailer from E3 2019. Did he ever go play that? I don't know. This kid's got hashtags on his goggles. What the heck's happening?
Ben?
No.
Is that
Me?
me?
Yeah, it's you, Blood.
Oh, it's blood.
This kid's got hashtags on his goggles. What the heck's happening? That's Blood Watch Dogs 2, E3 2016. 2016.
Hey, he's a good character, actually.
This kid I like. How different are they in age? But like this kid over here. Love the guy on the plane freaking out. Love
Sounds
the guy
like
on the
Huber.
plane freaking out.
Yeah.
Me?
I remember this one. That's moi.
Oh.
Talking about the guy from the first Cyberpunk trailer from E3 2018.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
He's like
When he was
burning
getting
out.
hacked and
Yeah,
freaking
he's
out.
like,
Liked it a lot. This is real time. He's playing it right now. This is insane.
is that Ben?
Damiani.
No and no. This is the last one. Anybody?
Ian?
Is that me?
That's Huber. That's
Yeah,
Huber
Huber.
excitement.
Ooh.
God of War?
That's Days Gone. E3 2016.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
This is real time. He's playing it right now.
He's playing it right
This
now.
is insane.
Dude, Days Gone's sick.
Tis sick. Another TBD PlayStation 5 title. Days Gone 2. It is time for bets. Do whatever you're going to do. Next week's bet. This Saturday is the Guerrilla Collective Live, the PC Gaming Show, and the Future Games Showcase. By this time next week, which of these videos will have the most views, and by how much? Ma'am, what is your bet over there in the corner?
Gorilla. Because of the
Yeah, your bet had a wig for a second there.
Greg
missing
Miller
out.
connection. I don't know.
And what's the lead there? By how many views?
By how much? Oh, I didn't know.
I said
but
that.
I'm
I said
I
that just a
missed
couple
that
times.
part. But
Well,
I'm,
then.
well, I'm going first, so I could still make something up right now.
Jeez. I don't-
20K.
But I should put mine out. That's what I said.
Hey, all right.
All right.
Alright.
Okay. That'll be a point for each of us. I usually go last, but I had to jump in there. Damiani, what you bet?
I bet PC and by 50,000.
We get those exact numbers from Huber. I wonder if he's gone big or
Clean one today. PC
Okay.
Gamer, 48,000.
48. Okay, even just a 48 though is nice. And my teammate, my friend, my partner in crime, Daniel Bloodworth.
Yeah,
Where we gonna
PC
be?
game
Okay.
gaming show by 41,000.
Diversified a bit. We like those in. Last week's bet, The Outer Worlds launched last week on Nintendo Switch. How long would the trailer be in the Nintendo Switch eShop? So you load up that eShop, you can go through the screenshots. Most of the time they have a trailer, not always. If there's no trailer, the shortest bet wins. I bet 1 minute and 40 seconds. Daniel Bloodworth bet 1 minute 14 seconds. Ian Hink bet 1 minute and 12 seconds. Damiani bet 59 seconds. Huber, you didn't bet nothing because you weren't here. There's no trailer. For this game that exists already.
There's no trailer.
They are scared of showing that game in motion, folks.
Yeah,
For
that
Outer
is
Worlds,
it's
it's
not
already
good. Was it Dreadnought?
Not only
whoever
that,
did the
there's only
job,
4
it's bad.
screenshots. This might have changed, it was from when I checked it, when it came out, but only 4 screenshots. That is not a game you're playing for how it looks on that console. Damiani had the shortest bet, so Damiani wins that one with 59 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Are you ready, Penguins?
Yeah.
Bringing the score to Jovial Penguins 3.
It could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
Yes.
Astonished Scorpions 3.
Thank you.
Evened it out. I'm okay with that. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. That is a place you can go to learn more about Easy Allies. You might just be tuning in because there are events. It's an exciting time to be talking about video games. More exciting news is going to be happening this week. We want to hear about all of it from you. But if you want to learn more about us, not only how we operate day to day, week to week, there's a lot of information you can go to find out about us. But if you want to know what is the main thing that makes Easy Allies run, this is our primary source of revenue. So we would appreciate it if you would just at least go check it out. And if you want to get involved financially, you can get involved with the Easy Allies. For just $1, you get a bunch of exclusive shows, including spoiler modes that we do for a lot of big properties, a lot of hot stuff that comes out every month. And then if you are digging this podcast, if you want to get involved in Gaming Gladiators at the beginning, if you want to leave us a lovely note or a game for love and respect, or if you want to just get this podcast a couple days early, you can join us at the $5 tier. But again, just checking that out. You'll learn more about us if you are curious.
Very important note. Right now, we got a new show running called
Yeah.
Hunting Huber. You get that a week early on Patreon.
Hunting.
Shout
It
out.
sounded like you said haunting Huber, which is a great idea for season 2.
That's season 2, yeah.
Big shout out to Ian Hink, spearheading this, making this all happen. Shout out.
It was
I
a
like
lot of
Bloodworth,
fun.
who did not win the bet, got the show recommendation in there. He kind of pretended it was a
Yeah,
part of
that's
the
That's not a show recommendation. That's a Patreon benefit.
I was going to do it anyway, so there you go.
show.
We'll
Blood
do
took
it
care
again,
of it.
Damian.
Oh, okay. I like what you did.
Thanks for handling it, Blood.
Good.
Very professional.
The super top tier that we have on Patreon is our shout out tier, and we have some lovely people that have donated at that tier, and right now I will give them a shout out along with my fellow allies. Ian, you're going first. I'm going after you. Huber, you're going after me.
Yes.
Me. Look at me, Huber. You're going after
Got
me.
you, got you.
Damiani, you're the second mic. You're mic number 2. You're going after Huber. Bloodworth, you're going last. Shout out to Blue, Caleb Togi Crawford, L. Fanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, and Jesse Blue.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
It's good. Damiani, you can either talk about that show or you can talk about a different show when you close this podcast. You can
Would I
also
be
get the
able
final
to
word.
do a potential shout-out correction instead of a show recommendation?
That's
No.
a final word.
That's your final word, dude.
Okay, I'll save it for my final word then.
Yeah. So you get a show. You get your
So
final
yeah,
word.
Hunting Huber, promo's up. Check it out. Get episodes a week early on Patreon. As Huber said, excellent job by Ian. I think this is
Don,
really good.
Don cut.
And
Don and I are
Don-
splitting it. He cut half the episodes. I cut the
So
other.
half the shout out also goes to Don as well for
Yeah.
a fantastic job on this as well. Very fun time with Huber. I don't know when my episode comes up, but I hope you like it. I hope you like all the episodes, but I just hope you like mine. I hope you like the challenge part at the beginning for Huber.
The laugh.
For Huber. It's okay,
I think
Huber.
you're episode 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Oh, my internet
you
died.
could follow me on. We still do Twitter handles, right? I
No.
forget.
No. Stop it.
No, we don't.
But you do trademark sign off and a final word. Yeah.
Okay. Final word. I believe one of those shout outs is Black Lives Matters. And until next time, may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce. Yeah. cat meow.